What makes you a Star Wars fan? Is it the way the stories make you feel? Is it how you connect with the characters? If you're a Disney-loving Ray boy, you're in the wrong place. Star Wars Celebration 2024 is finally here. This weekend, the Knights of Melvin YouTube channel is the center of the Star Wars galaxy for a blowout bash, not just celebrating Star Wars, but the real fans of Star Wars. And we're here to honor you, the best fans in the galaxy, with an inside look at the greatest event in all of the Star Wars fandom, live from the Melvin YouTube studio. Do you want panels? We got you. Do you want special guests? We got you. So sit back, relax, and rip on a Disney shill. You never know who might show up or what might happen. This is day one of Star Wars Celebration 2024. Hello there, this is Darth Melvin, leader of the Knights of Melvin. What is up, Knights? It is time for Star Wars Celebration 2024. Get your popcorn ready. We are here to celebrate Star Wars. And not just Star Wars, real Star Wars. Forget about Disney Star Wars. That is fake Star Wars. What is up? Disney felt that they didn't need to do this event for 2024 because there was nothing to celebrate. What are they going to celebrate? The Wokalite? The Skeleton Crew? You saw the shillgasm at the event for the Wokalite? That was not enough for them to hold celebration. The Bad Batch was not enough for them to hold celebration. But here we are. We are holding this event to stick it to them, to stick it right in their fucking ass. And they could cry about it. That's Melvin. He's running the Star Wars Celebration 2024. Make it stop. Make it stop, Bobby. You can't stop the Knights of Melvin. We are the real fans of Star Wars. And the Disney shills are the fake fans. They like fake Star Wars. So we're here to celebrate. This is going to go down on the record. They held the event in 2023. 2024, Knights of Melvin YouTube channel. 2025, they're going to Tokyo. This is going to go down in the record books. And you know what? We might as well hold the event next year too, because real Star Wars needs to be celebrated then, anyways. So, how many people we got in here? We got to get more people in the chat to celebrate real Star Wars. And you better believe that there are going to be panels this weekend. We're going all fucking weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. No one's moms are going to stop us. We're going to keep on going. And it's just, this is an epic, legendary event. And we are live. We are doing it live, you guys. We are live. Star Wars Celebration. All right, so for today, day one, what we got planned for day one? We're going to do one panel celebrating the failures of Disney Star Wars. That's right. Darth Melvin! I thought you were holding celebration to celebrate Star Wars. Yes, we are. We're going to celebrate the failures of Disney Star Wars. The complete fucking failures. We're going to rip apart Disney Star Wars and just talk about how they failed. And then I have a special guest that will be coming on to talk about one of the biggest failures, the Shield Cruiser Hotel. His name, Sean Gambroni. We have him waiting back in the studio. He's getting prepped for tonight. I believe this might be his 5th appearance on the channel, a record. Eventually, all appearances will be available on Melvin Zone when we get around to it. Oh, he's fired up. He's fired up. He's fired up to talk about Disney. You know, he's all on board the Melvin channel. You know, he's just ripping on Disney. That I don't know. I mean, like, if he is, whatever, I really don't care. You know, he's here to celebrate Star Wars. And if that's what he chooses, how he chooses to celebrate, then that's cool. That's right. Oh my gosh, indeed.
Oh my gosh.
So that will be the first panel. And then we are going to do our real fan community stream. Going to give the link out to the join members, like a typical community stream, and we're just going to celebrate Star Wars. That will be the second panel, and that will take us to the end of the day. So we'll probably go about 4 hours, about 4 hours each day. If we go a little longer, that's fine. You know, we're holding the event. This is live. They can't stop us. Going to go in the record books that we officially held the 2024 celebration on this channel, and there's nothing they can fucking do about it. All right. So I think it is time. It's time to get into the panel. All right, Knights. I'm Darth Melvin, leader of the Knights of Melvin, and this is the failures of Disney Star Wars. We're going to talk about the failures of Disney Star Wars and how they've ran this IP into the ground. I mean, it's disgusting. So it's an honorable mention. It started before the acquisition of Disney. After 2005, Revenge of the Sith, you know, everything was good. Had that movie come out, and then George wanted to go on, do the Clone Wars, which was already done, and he hired Filoni, and Filoni ignored all the canon, and so, you know, it created a problem. It deviated from the canon then. And then, you know, we were in kind of a gray period where these books are being written, and they're like, do we acknowledge TCW canon, or do we acknowledge the Clone Wars canon? And they had to acknowledge Filoni's canon. And then it eventually got sold to Disney. And Filoni's Clone Wars fits perfectly with Disney. So I think it already started before the acquisition. But then Disney gets a hold of it. And what do? They decanonize the entire expanded universe. And then they lie about it. They're like, oh, it was never really canon. Then how do you decanonize something that was never really canon? They just wanted to decanonize it and bastardize it, adapt it in their own way, and have all the shills just, seal clap for it. So then that took us to 2014, Star Wars Rebels. Did anyone watch Star Wars Rebels in 2014? I mean, like, everyone watched The Force Awakens in 2015, but did you watch Star Wars Rebels in 2014? Because if you watch Star Wars Rebels, you'd probably have a good feel on what was to come. And if you hated the Clone Wars, then you really had a good feel on what was to come. So, I did not watch Rebels before The Force Awakens. Had I seen Rebels before The Force Awakens, maybe I would have gone into that movie a little less optimistic. Anyways, The Force Awakens comes out, and it's terrible. They rip off A New Hope. Happy Star Wars Day, everyone. They ripped it off. And people just didn't care. Rey just pulled the Force out of her ass. And people just didn't care. It's like, forget training. Kylo Ren's been training his whole life. Or forget training. Just slap him around. Slice and dice. And so you're thinking, and then Luke Skywalker. You're waiting all this time, years, to see Luke Skywalker on screen. And he wasn't on screen. He was already on Ahch-To jacking off. He already failed the Jedi Order. This was in The Force Awakens. But people still thought like he was on Ahch-To doing something important. And I don't think JJ was very specific on what Luke was doing there. I think it's pretty obvious he was there crying. But you could have went a different direction where it's like, hey, Luke is actually doing something important there. But no, Rian Johnson comes in and even makes it worse. The Last Jedi. So you go into that movie looking for questions. Well, before The Last Jedi, we had a highly overrated Rogue One come out. So the fake hype from The Force Awakens, and then Rogue One comes out. They could have done Kyle Katarn, but no. They do Rogue One. That was terrible. Very boring. And The Last Jedi comes out, and people were highly disappointed. No questions were answered from The Force Awakens. None at all. Just deviated from where it was going. And it was trash. And people jumped off Disney then. They completely failed at that point. You had Rebels, so you decanonized the EU. You had Rebels, Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi. People were done. And if people weren't done, they just kind of wanted to see how it wrapped up in The Rise of Skywalker, and they were done. The Rise of Skywalker comes out, it's more the same. And after the movie, I realized it's like, everyone's ripping on The Last Jedi, but The Force Awakens is fucking bad too. And so is The Rise of Skywalker. Maybe it's a Disney thing. They're trying to put it on like one guy who is an idiot, has his own show on my channel, but like it's a Disney thing. They're all fucking terrible. But before The Rise of Skywalker comes out, we had The Mandalorian. came out on Communist Plus, which was a boring show. So you come up with an idea for a Star Wars show. You pick a Mandalorian. You don't pick a Jedi. You don't pick a Sith. Nothing. You just have this boring character, Din Djarin. And the entire time they have this baby Yoda, which is baiting casuals into it. Oh, look how cute baby Yoda is. That was their gimmick. And they did that for 2 seasons. And, people watched. But meanwhile, there was thought that the sequels were so bad, there was thought that they would actually erase them instead of doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, which they're doing now. Because everyone thought, like, you're not going to make money. You continue the way you're going. You got to admit that you fucked up. And it's like all these other franchises that, like, look at Terminator. Retconning this, retconning that. Today's day and age is more common. So people thought like that was going to happen. Look at the DCU. And they bring Luke Skywalker back. People aren't excited because Mando's a great show. They're excited because they fucking fell for the nostalgia bait, Luke Skywalker. Because they're like, oh, Disney gets it now. They're gonna apologize. Kathleen Kennedy's gonna be gone. And they're going to go in a different direction. But no, it was never going to happen. Never going to fucking happen. Then we don't get anything for a while. Then we get the Book of Boba Fett, which was garbage. Fucking trash. The Power Rangers. Boba gets eaten by the Sarlacc, and then he comes out of it, and he puts on like 30 pounds. I don't know how that happened. And then, if it didn't lose you then, so I imagine there's a lot of people that were kind of high in the first 2 seasons of Mando, fell for the Luke nostalgia bait. If you're still on board then there was Kenobi, which was another massive failure of Disney Star Wars. So they already fucked up one legacy character. Now they were going to fuck up Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker on Communist Plus. And we're not counting the legacy characters they fucked up in the movies. Oh boy, the Kenobi show was bad. I think that is the biggest failure of the TV shows. I think so. It broke canon, and it was just a complete disgrace. It was laughable. The clown show. And it was an epic failure. I mean, like, people knew it broke canon, but they're like, oh, whatever, I'll watch Kenobi. I'll watch Anakin. It'll be fun. Even though it completely break canon. But no, it's like they got 6 episodes, and they have to fit Reva into the story. And you're like, Reva? Who gives a fuck about Reva? You could have had 6 episodes focused mainly on those 2 characters that you liked. I don't think it would have been good because it's Disney, but it would have been better. But no, they had to focus on Reva, and they gave her a big arc in the show. And it was authentic. Completely authentic. And it just broke canon. And then you had the Disney shills who knew it broke canon, like Sexplained Kenobi, and he sexplained it hard. He sexplained Reva in the ass. Like, just disgusting. And then the term Revaing was born. surviving a lightsaber stab to the stomach. And it didn't happen just once, it happened twice. And then they ruined Luke Skywalker. We call him Jake Skywalker. They ruined Kenobi. The same arc, Jake Kenobi, buried his fucking lightsabers in the desert because he's a failure. They all have to be failures. Yet he still has to protect Luke somehow. Well, how's he supposed to do that if he buried the lightsabers and he's cut off from the Force? So really, he's just stalking him. Stalking him, going to a low-paying job, hanging out in a cave all day. It's like, who writes this shit? Who writes this crap? And then they made Vader look like a total bitch. He is just a failure in Disney Star Wars. He loses to everyone. You know, it's bad enough that Kenobi sliced and diced him, that he fucked up. You know, and that's part of his character, and it's great, but it's like they continue to make him a total failure, losing to everyone. Bail Organa's message. I'll tell you what's not a failure is Darth Ghostface gifted 20 Knights of Melvin memberships. Hell yes.
I warn you not to underestimate my power.
I can feel your anger.
Join me.
I'll never join you!
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Thank you, Darth Ghostface, for the 20 gifted memberships. And I hope you stick around because we are going to continue discussing the failures of Disney Star Wars. And then we're going to bring on real fans to talk about Star Wars. So Kenobi, I think that was a gigantic failure. You know, people are just like, meh, with Mando, 1 and 2, Boba. Kenobi is like, whoa, this is sequel trilogy all over again. If you already didn't get that with Boba. So, then what was the next one? Andor comes out. Boring ass show. No one cares. And then you see this pretentious retard side of the fandom. Oh, you only just like lightsabers and pew pew. You don't like sophisticated HBO-styled shows. Boring fucking show. And there's going to be a second season of that shit. And so where does that take us now? Takes us to Mando Season 3. So the people that were high on Mando Season 1 and 2, Mando Season 3 comes out and it's bad. It's like, why is it bad? Oh, because there's no Luke Skywalker. There's no nostalgia bait. And you think it's bad. Well, you know, it's very consistent with the first 2 seasons. You were just excited about Luke Skywalker. You thought Luke Skywalker is getting a show. You thought they were going to deviate from the Disney canon. No. They're never going to do that. Never. That's why Filoni created Star Wars Resistance, an animated show that took place around the time of the Rise of Skywalker. That's why they made The Forces of Destiny in 2017. Another animated series, animated shorts highlighting the strong women. Andor was gender politics in a Trumpian world, their own worlds. Or their own words. Yeah, I mean, they cater to a specific type of fan. They don't want the real fans that are tuning into the stream right now. They want these blue-haired nut jobs. That's what they want. So Mando Season 3, not only was it bad, they're shoving Grogu down your throat. All the Grogu scenes in that show, many of them, complete failure. That's all they got. They got a boring character. They got a character that the casuals think is cute. And now another failure is they're not even going to release season 4 on Communist Plus because it's doing so bad. They're like, oh, we got to change it up. We got to make it a movie. We got to make it a movie. And it's not the Mandalorian movie. It's the Mandalorian and Grogu. And Grogu. They're desperate for you to go see that movie in about 2 years, 2026. And don't see it. You do anything to contribute to this movement, don't see it. George Lucas's last gray hair gifted 5 fucking Knights of Melvin memberships. Let's go.
Oh my gosh!
Only through me can you achieve a power greater than any Jedi.
And, the shills that are lurking in the chat right now.
If you are suffering as much as I am, please tell me.
Oh my God, Melvin keeps getting gifted subs. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. George Lucas's last gray hair. And then we got King Chris gifted 5 fucking Knights of Melvin memberships. Can we get a Josh from Den of Shills? Let's go.
I do not fear the dark side as you do.
Join me.
I'll never join you!
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
This is where the fun begins.
Already we got 30 new members on this stream. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. And we're going to continue discussing the failures of Disney Star Wars. Darth Melvin, it's not a failure! Oh, it's a failure. Everything with Disney Star Wars is a failure. So that leaves us to... So people jumped off board with... People didn't really care about Andor. People jumped off ship with Mando Season 3. They're like, you know what? I kind of like the first 2 seasons. Season 3 comes out. It's trash. I'm done. Completely done. But you had the Filoni faithful, who have become a very important part of the fandom that needs to be destroyed, converted to the dark side. And we got a shill in the chat. Let's sound the shill alert. Shill in the chat. So the Filoni faithful, a lot of people just think I put on a mask and just say Disney Star Wars is trash, it's garbage, blah, 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 blah. I make videos that try to reach these Filoni faithful, be like, hey, dumbass, stop supporting Disney Star Wars. It's terrible. These are the reasons why. So I do, as much as I rip on them, I'm trying to get them to, drop Disney Star Wars, maybe check out the channel. And if you don't want to check out my channel, there's other channels that rip on Disney Star Wars. So Ahsoka comes out And it was terrible. If people had the faith in Filoni, they thought it was going to be great. It's just another strong whammon fest. Because Filoni's obsessed with strong whammon. Got many videos on the channel showing that he's a feminist. Everyone cries about Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy. Female empowerment. Woke agenda. Dave Filoni is all that. All of it. Fully supports it. And you saw the picture recently, him palling around with the sex-planes, palling around with the shills. Who knows what they were doing at the after party when the cameras were off. Ahsoka was garbage. You know what was great about the first episode of Ahsoka? So these Filoni fans, they all hated the Kenobi show. They all hated it. They all hated Reva, thought it was stupid how she survived the lightsaber stab. Sabine gets stabbed in the stomach and survives, and no one cared. None of the Filoni fans cared. Not at all. The same thing that happened to Reva. And this was Filoni's directed episode. Episode 1. He had someone Reva'd. This wasn't just someone else who quote-unquote wrote the episode or directed it. This was all Filoni. His directed episode. And someone got Reva'd, and they didn't care. Sabine Wren. I called it on this channel weeks in advance. She was going to be Rey 2.0. She was going to get the Disney Force. It was just going to turn on for her without any work. And you had all these fucking idiots. Hu Yang, the droid, said that she had little aptitude for the Force or no aptitude. Be the worst candidate he's ever seen at the Jedi Academy. She got very limited training, like 1 hour of plagiarized Star Wars Episode 4 New Hope training in Ahsoka. The writing is so terrible that she was Ahsoka's apprentice before this, but we don't know for how long. And we don't know what kind of training she got with Ahsoka. Based on that episode with Ahsoka, where she was training, that was like day one stuff. Using the Force, trying to move a coffee cup. So she was an extreme beginner. You know, Mandalorian, she could, handle herself in battle. Some judo chops. When it comes to the Force, how is she Ahsoka's apprentice for so long and they don't even like go over the Force at all? Just inconsistent writing and no one's going to question it except me. And they're not going to, Filoni's not going to answer you. He doesn't fucking know. So, these fans thought, okay, she has no aptitude for the Force, but if she works really hard, assuming she'll work hard, and she moves that coffee cup by the end of the season, that's fine. That's fine. And then she's got to work really, really, really hard to be a Jedi. And, she could do it. Do you think Disney's going to do 30 seasons of her working really, really hard for, like, many, many years? No. So forget about the coffee cup. She was slicing and dicing people because she turned on the Force just like Rey did in The Force Awakens. Just turned it on. And it's just like Rey. But these Filoni fans, they hate the sequels, they hate Rey, but they don't say dick when it comes to Sabine Wren. They don't say anything. Why? The same concept. She has less potential than Rey. You can make the argument that her ability to use the Force is worse than Rey. The whole story with her. She has no aptitude, and just it magically turns on. Rey had some lineage with Palpatine, even though that was a retcon, or they had no idea what was going on in The Force Awakens. But technically, Palpatine got some lineage, got some potential. Sabine is even worse. No aptitude for the Force, no lineage, but turns on the Disney Force. But they don't see it like that. They don't care. So it's like they despise the sequel trilogy. They despise Rey, but when it comes to Filoni and Sabine, they're fucking getting pegged. Like, that's what it comes down to. And it's disgusting. And you got these fake fans that are shipping Shin and Sabine. So it was a terrible show. And I don't know when season 2's coming out. Maybe 2025? I mean, really? Is it coming out next year? We'll see. And where does that take us now? We didn't mention The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch is garbage, boring ass show. There's more Clone Wars centered around the clones. I've watched it and I really can't explain it to you. I can't sum it up. Like, where they started is like where they ended. Like, nothing happened in the show. But Omega, who everyone ripped on, these Filoni fans, they ripped on her, was always the main character of the show. And that was very clear in season 3. They just don't want to admit it. We don't need season 2 of Ahsoka. And whatever Filoni fans are left, they're begging for it. And if it's more garbage, if it does something to hurt overall Disney Star Wars, then I'm all for it. Bring on the shit. More shit they release that's garbage that we can rip on. The more money they lose. The more failures of Disney Star Wars, the better. Filoni faithful love Omega. They love Omega! All right, nice. So, what do we got next with The Bad Batch? We have the Wokalite coming up next. Now, the Wokalite is going to be woke garbage. Complete trash. It is going to be Kenobi level bad. Extremely bad. And it's already been released, and you have these dumbass shills who are saying, I love it. Oh, it was so good. And then you have the shill website saying early reviews of The Acolyte is it's good. Of course they're going to say it's good. Yeah, she's a female Jango Fett clone. I don't think they ever really explained why she's female. And spoilers, she is Force sensitive. Asajj Ventress, who died in a Disney book, Filoni brought her back to life, was testing her, and she told Omega that she's not Force sensitive, but then kind of hinted to the Bad Batch that she is. So unless I missed something, I'm pretty sure that indicated that she thinks that she's Force sensitive. And she's going off to join the rebellion at the end of the show. Spoilers. So she's going to end up in Rey's Jedi Order. That's where it's all going. That's where it's all heading to. And tell that to the Filoni lovers. Yeah, I do enjoy Raging Rhino's critiques of Disney Star Wars. Definitely go check them out and subscribe. Omega will lick Rey taint in her box-munching new Jedi Order. I'm going to have to make a video about Rey's Jedi Order and where it's headed. I've already teased it, already talked about it, but want to make an official video about it. So the Wokalite releases June 4th. Every week. And I'm predicting it to be the worst show on Communist Plus, worse than Kenobi. And I'm predicting the shills to shill hard for it. Disney has made a big movement to get these shills on board. I don't, were the other premieres as like big as the Wokalite premiere? There was like a big theater for that. And I screenshotted anyone I could see that was invited because I want to put together a spreadsheet. And just like, no, who are all the shills? Who are they targeting? And I've noticed that without really thinking too much about it, there's a lot of unknown podcasts that they invited there. I think he had like middle-aged like lesbians or something that they invited. A lot of ATG cast shit where it's like they have a podcast, they're total shills, and they do have a YouTube channel. There's like nothing there. They got very little subscribers. So I want to figure out like what their strategy is. Crazy Fin Dude for $10. It's good to be back in streams again. It's been a while since last time. We're starting a little earlier today, and we're gonna be starting this time all weekend. Typically, I've been starting these Saturday streams too late, and want to get back to starting a little earlier. Right now, this is a tad too early, but we're doing it for celebration. Thank you for the $10. Riff Magos has become a member, a knight. Thank you for the membership. And thank you for everyone being here celebrating Star Wars Celebration 2024. The real fans of Star Wars. Disney didn't think there was anything to fucking celebrate. Well, they were wrong! George Lucas's last gray hair gifted 5 Knights of Melvin memberships. 5 of them.
This is where the fun begins.
And for the triggered shills that are lurking in the chat.
Sorry, milady.
Sorry, milady. We just got more gifted memberships.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you, George Lucas, for the 5 memberships. And the celebration continues. The party keeps going. We're here all fucking weekend and they can't stop us. They can't fucking stop us. The lurkers, they just started fucking crying. Oh my god! Oh, I can't watch anymore! That Melvin guy's holding a celebration? What are they celebrating? Oh my god, all the gifted memberships, I can't take it! King Chris for another 5 gifted Knights of Melvin memberships. Hell yes.
I can feel your anger.
Judo chop!
Definitely got to judo chop those memberships.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
And for the people that haven't joined yet or subscribed, you don't know the power of the dark side. Like, if you're on the Disney side, you're on a losing battle here. You know, it's great on the dark side. You know, we rip on shit-ass Disney Star Wars. We rip on Disney shills. Thank you for the gifted memberships. That puts us at 41 for the stream. I don't know what the record is, but we might get there. It's so good to be finally among the real fans again. Mommy, that's Melvin. I'm just very, very tired of these people that they have issues. They have issues with the failures of Disney Star Wars, but for some reason, my channel just triggers them more. And it's like, yeah, let people have opinions. No one could have opinions because I'm stating facts. Disney Star Wars is shit, and it's not Star Wars. That's a fact. Hate watchers are authentic. Mommy, Melvin is having a fucking weekend-long celebration. Stop him now! So I've basically named all the shows, the movies of Disney Star Wars. Rogue Squadron, that canceled movie, that's another failure. The delayed Rey movie, that's another failure. They brought her out for fucking Celebration. I believe it was last year. That movie's getting delayed. Pathetic shit. Lurkers eat corn the long way. Lurking shills will be shunned by the rat if they're caught in Melvin's chat. Give yourself to the fucking dark side. Like, stop fucking lurking and just subscribe to the channel. I wish there was an anti-subscriber button. It'd be kind of fun to see who all the crybabies are. The ones that regularly lurk. It should just automatically subscribe the anti-subscriber if they're lurking around so much and they don't subscribe. I got Teddy for $10. Thank you for the $10 here celebrating Star Wars. This is just day one. We're just getting started. just getting started. We have guests coming on. One of them is backstage. Then we're going to have more on Sunday, and it should be good. Monday, say no to Legends. It's not Legends, you guys. You see someone calling it Legends, it's a fake Disney term. Luis, Wokelite sucks. Tear it apart, Melvin. Andy.
Andy! Andy!
The operator member for 1 month. Got a lot of fucking members on this channel. I think we're going to set new records with the Wokelite. You know, the farther you go, the harder it is to unlock the emojis. I think we'll probably unlock a couple of them at least. Gonna be more streams. The anti-watch party. Saturdays, I think, are gonna be more poppin' because there's gonna be more to talk about. How bad everything is. So any more failures of Disney Star Wars? The video games have been a failure. What are they doing with the Knights of the Old Republic? They were going to put Sam Maggs on there. That was a failure. The Cal Kestis games, failure. And then Galaxy's Edge. How do you make a theme park? How do you make a Star Wars theme park as bad as the Galaxy's Edge? Where you know, like how do you make it that bad? I don't get it. And then you make the Shill Cruiser Hotel all sequel trilogy themed. Star Wars theme park that blows asshole. No, they put her off of it. I mean, I don't know why. Because they embrace people like Leslie Headland. They invite freaks to Lucasfilm. So I don't know why they took her off the project. Maybe they just like treat the games a little different. Maybe they realize, oh, okay, we there's people that buy the game still. We can't fuck around. I don't know. But she did another epic failure. All the characters are now gay. Luke Skywalker's gay, according to Sam Maggs in her short story. Obi-Wan Kenobi, gay, as the Disney expanded universe. That a lot of people don't talk about the Disney expanded universe that has replaced the real expanded universe. They don't talk about it. L. Simmons for $20. Exar Kun was originally created to be the most powerful of the ancient Sith Lords near 4,000 years before the birth of Luke Skywalker. The galaxy faced its greatest threat since the founding of the Republic. Well, maybe they'll bring him into Disney canon, make him blue hair. You know, that's what they do with everyone. They'll just bring. They bastardize shit. Everyone's gonna have blue hair. Everyone's gonna be females. Thank you for the $20. Like, imagine what they're gonna do with Revan. What they're gonna do. They're gonna give him a yellow lightsaber. Melvin, he doesn't have a yellow lightsaber. Well, they're gonna do it anyways. Smorgan, the books are an absolute failure. Shock member for 7 months. Ahsoka show. Rise of the cardboard cutout fuckers. Alright, guys, we're gonna get Sean Gambroni up here at fucking Streamlabs. Quit on me. It keeps running in the background, but I had to get out of it and get back in. But we're gonna get him here. So just give me a couple minutes to get this set up. First, Darth Fiend for $2. Happy Star Wars Celebration 2024. Melvin, let's go. I did and was still having issues. And then Google Chrome, it works better with the tabs. So I was gonna do it on Firefox, but then there was some shit going on and decided don't have time to mess around. Hopefully it won't cause issues this weekend. But just give me a minute. We'll get Sean Gambroni up here for you guys.
Hello? Hi. Is everything going on good? We all good? Okay. Hey guys, I'm Sean. I'm Sean Gambroni. What's up? What's up, guys? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous here. This is Star Wars Celebration 2024. Kind of made a buffoon of myself on previous streams, but we're here. We're here. I'm setting records, man. I think this is my fifth time. Yeah. Maybe I did a little bump before, just to clear my head. But yeah, I'm just a little nervous. And just nervous, man. There's a lot of people. There's 72 people. Yeah, I've really just kind of been out of the spotlight. These Melvin streams have really been the only shit I've been doing, and it's just been a while. It's been a while. My girlfriend broke up with me, lost some money investing, doing a lot of drugs, and just life hasn't been that good since I got fired from fucking Disney and the Shill Cruiser Hotel. Yeah, just life is rough. Life is rough. And, the only time I feel any kind of happiness is when I'm doing blow. But, I've been advised to stop doing blow. That's why I'm not getting work. But how can I be happy without the blow? She had issues with me flipping bitches. And that just seemed to happen when I was doing the blow. I'd do the blow, I'd flip a bitch, she'd find out about it, bitch at me, I'd be like, fuck you, I'll flip you right now. And she's like, no. So I walked out on me. This is over and over. Got tired of it, walked out on me. Oh! Woo! Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I needed that little bump. Woo! All right, guys. Sorry I had the slow start. I just, I'm on such an important channel. Moving to Avenge Star Wars. Avenge Star Wars, man. Yeah. It's like I worked at Disney. I put in the performance of a lifetime for that fucking commercial. And did I get any thanks? No. Did I get any ass? No. They fired me. Fuck them. And then they spread rumors about me that I was doing blow backstage, flipping bitches, and it's like I do that stuff at home. I don't do that on the job. I take my job very seriously. Check out the Goldbergs. Check out the Goldbergs. Goldbergs. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, fuck! Yeah, I'm amped. I'm amped right now. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Fuck. Yeah. So yeah, fuck Disney. They fired me. I didn't do anything wrong. I was better than Matt Martin. I saw Matt Martin was at the fucking premiere. He's at the fucking premiere of The Acolyte. That guy, they didn't fire him for the Shill Cruiser Hotel? I was the only one who could have possibly made that work. I was the only one. They gave me the script. I walk in on that day. I'm like, okay, so sequel trilogy themed hotel. No one's going to want to come here. I read the script and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I thought, Shawnee G, you got to make this work, man. You got to fucking kill it with this commercial. You got to fucking kill it. So I just went in there. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go inside. And I went and they gave me this ridiculous shirt this sideways zipper shirt. And they expected this to, I mean, they just tried to do everything possible to make this not work. The terrible script, the ensemble. But you know what? Fuck them. I ended up stealing the shirt. I have it to this day. I wear it when I'm flipping bitches. The bitches love it. They love the sideways zipper. Sometimes I do a lot of blowing. I just like to rub the fucking collar all up over their vag and be like, yeah, yeah, baby. Feel that zipper. Oh, feel the zipper. Woo! I love you too, Jar Jar. I love you too. I love you too. And you know, girls, they like to get flipped. They like to get zipped. What can I tell you? I'm the master. Storyline of Kenny Strap. What are you sniffing? Oh yeah, I banged Gaia. You know, I met with her after what happened to her. They fired her. So I flipped and zipped her. Gave her the oh my gosh. The ironic thing is when I'm flipping them, they're like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's me, Sean, the master of the flip and zip. Yeah, I flip real bitches. I don't fuck around with AI. You know, Disney, they tried to pass along that AI shit to me. I'm like, nah, man, I fucking flip real bitches. I flip and zip. I think they're pissed off that I stole that shirt because I don't know where else you can get them. I really don't know. Flipping and zipping. I'm much better than Jacob for sure. For sure. I mean, who comes on Melvin stream does blow? Now, if Jacob was on this stream, he'd fucking cry. I'm like, oh my god, I'm saying my wife is fake. Why don't you just go out and fucking flip a real bitch? And knowing Jacob, he probably does have a sideways collar zipper shirt. He probably does. All those fuckers do. And you know, when I was in Disney, when I was doing the Goldbergs, it's like they tried to indoctrinate me. They tried to groom me into being some liberal cuckold. I was just like, I'm Shawnee G. I'm fucking Shawnee G. I'm going to do whatever I want, B. I don't give a fuck what you think of me. I'm going to fucking make a lot of money, flip a bitch, and rub up on her with my zippy. That's what I'm going to do, homie G, because I'm Shawnee G. Oh, yeah, totally. You know how much fucking money I lost in this economy? Bring on Trump. But I'll tell you one thing. Hunter Biden's got nothing on me. Shawnee fucking G. And that's a good point, you know, like, with the fucking fat bitches, you really can't flip a fat bitch. But you could zip them, though. You just get in there, squirm up on them, and rub that zipper, that fucking collar all over their shit. But then you gotta wash the shirt afterwards. But I don't have a problem with that. Zip them.
All right, Knights. It looks like Shawnee G, his agent was just like, you got to put a stop to this. And Shawnee G, he's out of the building right now. Rest in piss, Shawnee G. Nah, Shawnee's all right. Just his agent is just like we can't fucking do this anymore. He did too much blow, man. I don't know. Maybe we'll have Shawnee G back on the stream, but I don't know. It's been 5 times. I believe it's been 5 times he's been on the stream. He got Hillaried. Yeah, maybe. They want him to shut the fuck up. It'd be fun to party with Sean. Sean is salty. He's not a top shill. Yeah, I think if, he would be there shilling if they wanted him. But now I think he's realized that, they fired his ass. They want to control what he says. They want to control his flipping and zipping. So I think he's gotten a lot better, since he first came on. And I think he's just realized that Disney's terrible. Darth Blaze should have a panel. Which Disney Star Wars show is most authentic? It's Star Wars Sex-Plain for sure. All right, Knights. That was the failures of Disney Star Wars. And we talked about a lot of them. We had Shawnee G come on. Legendary, as always. I think we're going to get this link out. Let me get to the community tab. So it's time to bring in the real fans of Star Wars and talk. Mommy, I didn't check my email. I didn't go shill. Yeah. How much of a loser do you have to be? So Mace Windu. It looked like he was going to be invited to Lucasfilm, just like Sexplain, just like Fake News Kyle Katarn. I don't know why they're inviting him specifically. And I don't know how many other people were there. Sexplain's coming out with a vlog. Everyone in that picture, that might just have been a small sample of the people that got invited to Lucasfilm. There's a lot that got invited to the premiere, but how many people got invited to Lucasfilm for that secret meeting, the Bohemian Grove meeting? Jacob's so jealous he can invite Pathetic. So Mace Windu was invited to the meeting and the premiere, and all he had to do was just check his email. This idiot, who I don't know how many followers he has on Twitter. I don't know how many YouTube subscribers does he have. Let me look. 11,000. Now, he doesn't upload much. I think it all just comes from Twitter. Take a look at his Twitter, see how much it's there. Sports Palestine, only 31,000 followers. Like, no one gives a fuck about Twitter. But he got an invite to that special meeting. He was too busy cucking for Palestine. So he's got a Twitter brand, YouTube channel, doesn't check his email. What a loser. That's sad. And, like, they didn't, you want to be like, Melvin, they're just inviting the top, like, fans, top creators. No, they're inviting the craziest fans in the fandom. Far left people, that's who they're inviting. Yeah, could block me so now I can laugh at his lame. So I can't laugh at his lame tweets. He blocks me on every account. But I will make many alts. I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't. Because they got invited before. If they did, maybe they didn't broadcast it. But they don't have Star Wars channels anymore. So I don't know if that works. Like, do they just notify Disney and be like, hey, we're out of the Shield program. We're getting too much shit. We don't want to be a part of it anymore. Thanks for everything. Or does Disney just, like, look at them and be like, oh, Melvin exposed the shit out of you. You're authentic. Like, we're not going to invite you. Like, really? Because why wouldn't they get an invite? Because there was some really shit creators that were invited there. Like I was saying earlier, they're inviting people that have Star Wars podcasts that you've never heard of, that get no views on anything, and they invite them. These, like, bloggers they invite, and they're all woke as shit. So I'm wondering, like, why wouldn't they invite them? My answer to that is they stopped doing Star Wars videos. But, like, is someone who works there, like, take note of that? Be like, all right, they're not in the show program anymore. We need to know these answers. And the sad thing about Jacob and all these other shows, they were like, where's my invite? Where's my email? They're begging for the invites. And Jacob is like, oh, I'm going to up my game now to get the invite. You saw that with Sawyerism too. Hey guys, the Acolyte. Chill harder. And to be honest, though, like, I don't think they're far off from getting invited. I really don't. The bar is set very low for who they invite to these premieres. The official Star Wars account interacted with Pink Milk and That Gay Jedi, and they had no following at all. Now, it was because they're homosexuals, but I mean, like, so is, like, everyone else in this group. They're either bi or they pretend to be bi. I think a lot of them pretend to be bisexual. Just like Amanda Stenberg pretends to be non-binary. Oh, I'm non-binary, I'm trans, everyone, but I also go by she, her pronouns, so you don't have to say anything different. But I am non-binary and trans. It's ridiculous. We got the link out. Is anyone going to join Celebration? How can you be both trans and non-binary at the same time? Transgender, but you're non-binary, which means you're genderless. So, I like you changed to you changed yourself from female to non-binary. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You're right. Like, how is that possible? But they just include them together for some reason because it's convenient. And it's like, I don't approve of the they thems, but I think if you're going to call yourself non-binary and it's going to be celebrated, you can't go by she. No, you are a they. You can't get the credit for it and then not have to live it. The opposite argument I saw was these shills think that we made up gender, that it's completely made up. So because it's completely made up, that means they're non-binary. It just makes no fucking sense. It's like pansexual. These people are fake when it comes to their sexuality. I would say 90% of people that consider themselves pansexual are not really pansexual. I could buy that they're bisexual, but they're not down to fuck like every type of gender, every type of, like, they're not into everything. I guarantee 9 out of 10 people you can call out their bullshit easily. But the thing is, they don't have to prove it. They never have to prove it. They could say it, but they don't have to prove it. Shill's looking for all the victim perks. Pansexuals are just desperate people. Talking about the failures of Disney stars, the failures of the community section of the stream. No one yet to join, but just gonna have to wing it a little bit. We'll get people. Celebrating Star Wars. Celebration. Still at work. It's a little early. Jacob is always on his knees. Jacob runs around Twitter criticizing marriages. Oh! What up, what up? We just had Sean Gambroni on the stream. Go check it out. He was zipping. Talking about his flipping. He apologizes. He didn't get to say a proper goodbye and shit on the Shield Cruiser a little more, but his agent was like, we got to get this guy out of here. He's not going to get any work if people see what he's been doing. If you have slave lay on your wall, you cheat on your wife. See, the problem with Jacob is his wife, since she's AI, monitors his internet history. And when he goes to inappropriate websites, he pays for it. And she's got access to all his like Apple Pay and all that bullshit. So can't use any of his money. What up, Star Wars Marvel purist? And we have our first guest of the community stream. DVS Lord, what up? I don't know if he's ready.
There we go. Sorry, I had the stupid mic off. What's going on, Lord Melvin and the Knights of Melvin?
Nothing, we just had the guest of the century on, Mr. Sean Gambroni.
Yes, I saw him doing his thing, or at least I heard him while I was finishing up work over here. He definitely, and then I had to take a break for a second. I did the 2-speed to catch up, and that was even funnier.
So we're here celebrating Star Wars. It's Star Wars Celebration 2024.
Yes, true Star Wars Day. I wish I could have said that when I was back in '77. I saw it on the 25th, but I think I saw it like maybe a week later because obviously it took a minute to get going. And then my dad's like, "You got to see it," and threw me in a movie theater, and I didn't want to leave all day, and I watched it. But yes.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this stream, to honor fans like you that Disney doesn't care about. People that saw the original movies in the theaters, who know real Star Wars.
Oh man, I tell you, the movie theater experience is a great thing from the past, and especially those times, man. Going to, as a kid, seeing it 6 times, that was one thing. But then seeing Empire Strikes Back, a few years later. And I think the best one for me was Return of the Jedi because, we're all primed for it. And, I love that movie. And that was so great watching opening day and everyone cheering, just the aspirations, the wondering what's going on. It was a good time, Everyone was just, so happy to see this movie and see it conclude, especially the way it did, too, because a lot of people didn't expect it to be the way it happened at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then also with the prequels too, that was good when I took my son, and then for him to see my son do that, experience and the wonder. And now he's 27, 28, I should say, and he's got his son going on, and he shows some true Star Wars, obviously. He doesn't show him his other garbage, stays away.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that a lot of these people who are on these Disney bandwagon, those, they're just cheating themselves, man. They're just watching such a cheap carbon copy. It has nothing to do or has the essence of the real Star Wars.
I just think a lot of them might understand that, but they just don't care. They want the live action Star Wars, even if it's terrible. It's an abusive relationship.
Man, I mean, and there was one time when I was young, and there was that time you had, droids, you had the Ewoks, and you had Ewoks Adventure and the Battle for Endor. It was like, it's Star Wars, but it's not. It's the Ewoks, And then was always praying, that the live action would come back. But the EU definitely filled that hole up pretty good, the comics. I mean, I wasn't too into it, but I definitely was into it enough that I read some of them, and I was happy to be like, man, this is the possibilities, of after Return of Jedi. But we kind of all knew that wasn't really the plan. The plan was for the prequels, so we were always concentrating, well, what happened in the past so much, as well. As the EU was flying, because the EU was doing its thing and doing all the great content afterwards. But again, some of us, like myself, was really focused in, with the prequels, and then when the prequels came out. And that was a great time, too. Like I said, taking my son to go see that. All 3 of them,
Yeah, I remember I saw the originals, like, I don't know, like 97 or 98. And then it's just, I remember reading, like, in a magazine, oh, there's going to be episode 1. And I'm like, all right. So just like the age I was born, as a kid, watch the originals. And then the prequels are fucking coming out. But, like, back then, a year or 2, like, felt like 10 years.
Oh, man. Even as an adult, it was like, oh, man, definitely the anticipation for that. Oh, man, I remember when what it was? It was when he, a lot of people don't like the special editions, I can understand, but it was nice that he threw them back in the movie theater because a lot of the kids, especially like my son, for example, saw it on the TV screen, and I remember the original uh, ad for it. They were saying, "Remember, Star Wars. The only time you've seen it on this small screen. Now see it on the big screen. With the special edition." And whether or not people liked it or not, just going back to the movie theater was cool. They have that and everyone cheering and then prepping everyone up. I think it was '97 when they came out with that. And of course, in '99 was episode one. So they were, get people back in the movie theater, get that nostalgia, get everyone back in there. And then, of course, for the Phantom Menace to come out in '99. But it was great. I took my son. He was like 1.5, and it was the first time taking a movie. And I got, we got to see Star Wars. And he sat there the whole time. I changed his diaper in the movie theater. I didn't give a shit. But he was watching. He was into it. He's looking at the screen, just and I don't know, he was a year and a half whether he knew what was going on, but he definitely was very interested. And then, I knew what was going on. He was definitely taking it in, just like I did. It was like, wow. But then when I took him to see Phantom Menace, that was great. He was 4, dressed up like Darth Vader, red lightsaber, and midnight showing. True fan ever since, too.
I always loved the Phantom Menace, all the shills, they give it shit, but it's like fucking cool as hell. Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Right. I mean, dude, the pod race was great, too. I mean, there's so many good factors in there. I mean, again, it was kind of a give and take a little bit. I can understand some people's gripes, and even Lucas said, too, it's kind of, maybe they did a little too much, But hell, man, he takes the like he like these other people, they rehash it. Another Death Star, another this. Yeah, maybe he might have done a second Death Star, but at least he had the balls to try to make a new world, something different. And even with Jar Jar. But hey, that's what it takes sometimes. The vision and like let me make this, and might not like, but oh well. Away from him, he tried to make something different. He didn't want to put, because I was a little bit like, oh, there's no X-wings, there's no TIE fighters and all that, but it's, I was seeing his point of view coming through. It's like, that wasn't a time for that. Of course, he kind of brought that in Revenge of the Sith and tried to do it.
Yeah, people talk about the prequels and everything. I wish there was more live action during that time. Like, if there was like a TV show or there was actually like 5 movies, that would have been fucking awesome.
That would have been prime. I definitely agree. If they had the ability to do that too. I mean, if he could have done it, he probably would have to milk it out a little bit. All right, you got 2-3 years to next movie. Well, let's put a TV show here that maybe it's a prequel as before the Phantom or something in there. That would have been ideal, no doubt. I know he tried that with the original Clone Wars, which was cool. I mean, I love that. That was that was cool too. I remember watching that online on the computer. Every week it came out. We're like, oh my god, this is cool. And I remember that the reveal too when the second season of that of Grievous, that they were sworn to secrecy about the 4 arms, but then they gave the guy the permission to show it in the show, and they're like, "Are you serious? I thought we were hiding that." They're like, "No," and because at the end of season 2, when he kills Shaggy and the other guy with the 1 tooth, I can't remember what his name was. Clone Wars, and he pulled out the 4 arms. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but Filoni came in, did his own fucking Clone Wars, and people say, George was behind that, but George was behind the original Clone Wars as well.
It makes me wonder too, like how much did George? I don't know too much about when he knew he was going to sell to Disney, or when has it always been in the prep works? Because I know they were doing business with Disney for a while before he sold, so I don't know if that was something they were kind of maybe they kind of knew or didn't, and maybe this guy knew too. Filoni's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get in Disney, so if I can push this stuff, I'll still have a job. Or that's just my conspiracy mind going through, but makes me wonder, because he definitely was, yeah, he's in that right place, right time, because I was under George, and that's why those people, they worship him, like the apprentice of the guy, but his work already proved it, especially when he took the.
Sometimes people just need to retire instead of continuing on. Like
right.
Everything was great after Revenge of the Sith. Had he wanted to do his sequel trilogy, I think that would have been interesting, but not like he was going to include the TCW bullshit in it. So I'd be interested to see what he'd have to do with that. But I mean, after 2005, he should have just stayed away.
Right, walk off to the sunset. That's probably would have been. It's like they don't seem to push that concept anymore, of that retirement. Hey, disappear, to parts unknown, make you wonder. I mean, that was always the idea I was given as a kid or whatnot, so to give that mysterious thing, wonder what would happen. Like in The Last Crusade, for example, it was perfect. Going off to the sunset, all three of them, man. Then you wonder, wonder. I mean, I had that stupid Indiana Jones show, like that too much, but again, there was an example too. Maybe George trying to do something like that, and I watched it like a couple years ago, and I was like, this isn't really that good. I thought it was good when I was a kid, but kind of like, ugh. And then they made a canon in the fourth movie or something to put that. But I mean, definitely, like I said, it's dead. Star Wars is a dead brand. Everyone knows it, and the people that show for it, they definitely know it too.
Well, they know it, but in their bank accounts, they're on the rise. It's just sickening. Like fake news, Kyle Katarn, they brought him over there, so now he's just encouraged more. It's like, hey, my channel's good when it's not. Like his channel's just fucking disgusting.
They're crap pushers, and then the shows are gonna come out the trash light, and it's just it'll be fun to see how they shield for it. But it's still a good show, this and that. We'll see, because it's gonna be great to see them explain it away. Kind of like those people that explain away, with the president right now. This and that, make all the fucking excuses. Yeah.
I remember after the Andor premiere, they're fucking talking about, like, they all were going off a script. Yeah, it's a slow burn. It's like they knew it was boring as fuck. But I'm like guarantee like Disney told them through an email. It was like, hey, say it's a slow burn.
You know it, man. They're programmed like the Borg, man. NPCs, like, okay, It's like, dude, you can't, can you break the mold and actually tell us the truth, what you feel, and be honest? Yeah, it kind of sucked, I'm sorry. They can't do it, because they got to push the narrative. And that's what motorcycles passing by, don't mind them. But yeah, I mean, pushing the narrative and not being honest and showing it's just sad. Be, have some integrity, It's like, hey, man, if your breath stinks, it stinks, dude. I'm not trying to be rude to you. It just sucks. People are, I don't know what their deal is, man. It's the water.
What's up, Greg? I like the rebrand. The rebrand, I think, is good.
I love it.
It fits me. It fits me.
I think so. I think you should make some future Star Wars content on that channel.
I have to invest in a dartboard first, and then we'll go from there. It's all on the dartboard, and I don't want to get like a cheap one. I want to, make sure that I'm starting in the right way.
Dartboard that has blood on it already, man. That's the one you got to get.
Yeah, that would work. Or like, just YouTubers' faces and around the edges instead of numbers. Like, shit, I had a triple Jeremy.
That's a good idea, man. Just set a dartboard up and put stuff in all right, aim for it right there.
Yeah, it fits the theme too. The hating everything, pierce things with a sharp tip. I'll have my new stream name will be called Just the Tip.
Just the tip. And the little barb on the corner that rips everything out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there you go.
Definitely on that.
The red eyes.
I know. I love that, man.
Well, it has to, there has to be some movement. If I'm just going to be like an avatar character, you got to have a little bit of movement when you do this, so people can at least tell, like, hey, okay, he's talking at this point. If if they're watching back the stream and anything. Just static images doesn't work too good. It's not good YouTube.
Right? No, it's creative and it ain't, man. That's what you got to do. You're making me look at the screen right now. I want to see them eyes go red again. That was cool.
Con!
I've hurt you, and I wish to go on hurting you.
Yes,
Dude, I love that movie. That was, speaking of movie theaters, now I'm thinking about it. That was one of the other movies that I saw because it was I don't remember, was it 81 or 82 when that came out? And Jesus, man, all I knew was it 83? I mean, it's somewhere around. I know it's like after Empire, but before Jedi, because that was, Spock dying was the big thing. Spoiler alert. No. But seriously, I mean, my memory is because I saw Ricardo Montalban, Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island, a nice, calm guy, he's nice, suave. And then he's here in this movie acting like my dad. And I was like, oh, dude, this guy's great, man. Just like livid. I didn't think he had that range. And then, of course, I find out when I get older that this guy, he's done all these movies and shows and he's done everything. So great actor, man. But Khan he's definitely on the bad guy list on my tier. He can join. He's definitely on there.
You can tell Mr. Montalban liked playing this role. Like
right?
Like I think good actors kind of relish the chance to play like a little bit of an over the top villain.
Right.
Because
and maybe something that they're not known to, because I seen he played a villain, believe it or not, there was this old Wonder Woman movie, which is correct, in 1975. No one knows what it was. I seen it one time. And he was in there as the bad guy, but he was just so suave and debonair, he wasn't too crazy and not over the top. It's like, hey, like a Bond villain type bad guy in the movie. But
it would just be
fun.
It would just be fun, more fun to play.
Right?
But then, especially when you're opposite and the nemesis of a character like James T. Kirk, which is like the ultimate hero character in science
his
fiction,
hate,
particularly Star Trek.
His rap as the Gatekeeper Dynamo. Welcome.
What up?
No, Khan's a great villain, and just the way he portrayed it was just great. The rage, the wrath, everything about it.
Rage, not like an over the top, yelling and screaming rage, just kind of the seething, burning hatred,
pure emotion. Like I love the part where he, the son's telling him, "Listen, we can't go in there." He's like, God, grabs him, full speed, damn you! And I'm right at my dad, just grabs you, like, holy shit, I'll kill you now. Do what I say.
Speed ahead, damn you! Because he was he was his most trusted lieutenant, and he was openly, disobeying and challenging him. I mean, that's
right.
There's so many great moments in that movie that aren't really necessarily quotable, or a lot of people don't really remember them. But when you think about them and kind of what goes behind that dynamic between him and his number one,
right? The emotions. I mean, you feel it, it, man. The bond's all there. So believable. It's like, dude,
And he's he tells the captain, not Captain Kirk, but what's his name? The captain who shoots himself. Don't waste your breath. These guys swore to live and die at my command 10,000 years before you were born. He's like, these guys are you're not going to convince them or talk them out of being loyal to me, man. They're with they're with me, man. Just don't even bother. And he knew it. It was great. I mean, I guess I don't hate everything. I love Wrath of Khan.
Yes. I don't hate anybody. I hate everyone equal. Awesome, brother.
What's up, Dynamo?
What up? What's going on, guys?
Talking Star Trek, brother.
Just celebrating Star Wars, the real Star Wars, not the fake Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, it's almost like you're more loyal to Star Wars if you talk Star Trek.
Hey, it's a legitimate competition as far as which franchise has been damaged.
For sure.
That's a good way to put it.
My dad's a huge Star Trek fan, And it's funny to watch because the like I know that like I'm not, but I know a lot of those like Trekkies had issues with the J.J. Abrams trilogy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is kind of ironic because it looks like he dipped into 2 franchises and fucked with them a little bit too much.
I don't think it's ironic at all. I think it's what he does, JJ, because he comes in and he fundamentally alters the core of what the franchise is about. So Star Trek in particular is not an action adventure romp blockbuster movie franchise. It is, and like
Right.
it's not to say that Star Trek is like highbrow compared to Star Wars. They're just they're different.
For sure.
They're different thematically, and they're different. They have a different feel to them. And JJ came in and made it basically Fast and the Furious in space.
Yeah.
And that's not Star Trek. And so people who really like Star Trek see JJ Star Trek and they're like, that doesn't feel like Star Trek. It feels like generic action movie with Star Trek stuff on it. It's a reskinned action adventure movie using Star Trek type things.
It like to me it felt like a generic action movie that just slapped Star Trek on it. That's pretty much what I saw, at least back when it first came out.
And then Force Awakens, like for me, Star Trek or Star Wars, particularly the OT, you take a look at Luke's journey through, the first movie all the way to the end of Return of the Jedi, where he converts and redeems his father, right? There's there's this kind of operatic feel to the entire arc of what's going on. And yes, there's the fun action adventure, the silly action in there, kind of some corny jokes even, and stuff like that. But then JJ's came along and he just made this boilerplate generic thing that had Star Wars stuff in it.
Well, and something
it had no soul. It had no heart. His movies have no heart.
Well, and the core, like you'd already said it, that like the corny jokes. That's what like one of the first things I noticed in the sequel trilogy was that like they just insert these like slapstick humor, right? Like in every single piece of dialogue. And it's the same thing with Star Trek. Like that's at least how I felt. Like they do this punchline type humor that it's scenes that aren't meant to be humorous. Like you throw in a joke to try to make the audience laugh. It's silly.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like the phrase "they fly now." It's like, oh my god, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Still on me.
See, those are things that are written to make trailers, and I don't think like you look at the OT. Like, I don't think those moments of levity and lightness, the characters kind of bantering to lighten the severity of the thing. It's very human. It feels very human when they're doing it in the original trilogy, because it's something that people naturally do, even in really dark times in people's lives, funerals and tragic events. People break the ice and have this kind of desire to lighten the mood a little bit, to not only relieve their own despair, but to relieve the despair of the people around them. And that's a very natural human thing to do, and it makes the characters feel very real in the original trilogy. And the problem with the type of banter that we get in the sequel movies is very modern day, very MCU type, made for the audience, made for the trailers, not made for each other's characters. Like the lighthearted moments that they have in A New Hope is the characters trying to make each other feel better about the situation they're in, and create some levity and kind of help them get through the situation. It's not for the audience to go like see the
Ooh,
applause line sign light up and then go, and everybody go, ha ha ha, ha, like it's Friends or something, right? With a laugh track.
It's like when they rescue Leia, you know, you having a plan to get out, guys, you know, it's like honest, like, hey man, what the fuck you guys doing?
It feels like the comedy's directed at each other, like it's friends bantering, like friends do when they're talking, when they get together and they joke around with each other, they give each other some shit and they have some fun. It felt like that in A New Hope, the way it was structured, the way it was delivered, and it had a lot to do not with George's script writing. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that the original trilogy was cast very well for chemistry.
Well, and
each actor individually wasn't necessarily a slam dunk hit it out of the park, but the three of them combined and the chemistry that they had really worked.
Well, and on the contrary, that scene where Luke's trying to teach Rey or whatever, and he like tickles her face or whatever with the feather. That's not how the Force works. You know, it's just it was meant to like, okay, this is when you're supposed to laugh, like, you know. Go.
It's for the audience because
Yeah,
it's almost like fourth wall breaking. Like the character should turn to the camera and wink, like ding, you know, like
right? And the audience shield claps.
I mean, a reference audience, ding.
You may clap, you may laugh now. That's how they treat it with robots. You know, they treat the audience kind of like, oh, you're just a robot. They're programmed to laugh at these things, you know.
Right. Well, and the MCU does this too. It's like it's like they treat the audience like a laugh track, right? Like this is when you laugh, you know? Like go for it.
It works for some characters. It does not work for the tone of the entire universe or world that they're in. Like some characters have that kind of like they're always going to be the jokester and they're going to be trying to get a laugh out of everybody and be the center of attention everywhere they go. There's just certain people, and we all know them in our personal lives, or you know, particularly in school. You know, basically, kind of the class clown character, and those characters are going to do that. But like, that's not that shouldn't be every hero in the lineup, and it gets boring and tiring, and just kind of it feels fake. It doesn't feel real. It lacks heart and soul.
It's because the people making it lack heart and soul. I totally agree with that.
And see, what the reason why the MCU was popular as it grew all the way up to Endgame is that we kind of grew up with these characters, not in the sense that we aged with them necessarily, but we saw them progress from their initial like launch, and that's just not just a launch from the character's perspective, but the universe itself from an outside looking in perspective. And we had an attachment to these characters, and we got it when Tony made it funny, because that was like Tony's attitude. That was his like coping mechanism. That was built into his character, and it's very kind of Robert Downey Jr. as well.
Yeah, I was going to say like Robert Downey Jr. is very charismatic as an actor, so you kind of
and he can
feel connected to what he's saying and whatnot, and so when he does make it funny, it actually is funny because, you know, it's Robert Downey Jr. saying it. Whereas you have these actors like Daisy Ridley and you know, everyone else in the sequel trilogy, and it's just not really, like, you don't really feel connected to it.
Well, and there's characters like Star-Lord. Right? You know, Star-Lord is him. Like, he's a goofball. Like, you look at like the behind the scenes and anything he's ever done, like that's him, right? I feel like he's not really acting, Chris, very much when he's playing Star-Lord. It's just kind of him on the screen being him.
Well, you compare Star-Lord.
You like that.
You compare Star-Lord to like Parks and Rec, and it's essentially the same character, which is why you get like like Terminal List. He's a completely different character. Like I was actually nervous to watch Terminal List because I didn't know how well he could do based off of what I've seen from Star-Lord and Parks and Rec. But, you know, it's a completely different person. But, you know, to what you were saying, like, yeah, like when you see Star-Lord, it's Chris Pratt, like being a goofball, like, you know, so it works.
It doesn't work when Hulk, when what's his name does it for the Hulk, because he's an unlikable Weasley kind of guy.
Yeah.
And it's not endearing. It's grating. Who's the actor that plays him?
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo. He's just
Um,
kind of that kind of
and
guy. He's not nearly as likable.
in the same vein, if you look at like Poe Dameron, right? What's his name?
Same thing, yeah.
You know, like so. Like, why am I forgetting his name? What's the actor's name?
Oh shit! Now you made me draw a blank.
Yeah, I know. Oscar Isaac. Oscar
Yeah,
Isaac.
right.
So Oscar Isaac in Ex Machina, super serious character, like really good acting. And you know he can play that kind of serious role, and then you see him as Poe Dameron, and you're like, it's obvious he's acting. Like it's clear he's pretending to be this like joyful, like let's go get him type of guy, right? But
He's trying too hard, is
yeah,
what it feels
exactly,
like. His
exactly.
character's trying too hard to be a funny guy, and it just doesn't feel natural.
Exactly.
That's why casting is so important, and like Hollywood just really does nothing but stunt cast now. Like, who's a big guy? Who's in something popular? Who can we draw in? And you know, hey, ooh, Lizzo's popular. Let's put her in the episode, right?
It's
They have Big Yoda jump into her boobs. Funny.
It's the Pedro Pascal effect, right? He's in fucking everything that you don't need him to be in. Same with Anya Taylor-Joy. I think has the same kind of effect. Like they just like they stick these actors in stuff because the face is popular, and you're like, ooh, you know, this actor got into this role. But at the end of the day, what do they actually offer that character? That's kind of how I tend to break it down.
In modern Lucasfilm is super guilty when it comes to directors and actors in their stuff, right?
Yeah,
almost everybody who's gotten a project with Star Wars is coming off of something that was popular, and Kennedy's philosophy and Disney's philosophy is like, well, they're a hot commodity, let's have them do Star Wars. And not really like, hey, let's have them come in and pitch something if they want to do Star Wars. What's their idea? And like, are they going to be the right fit for Star Wars? It's just like, oh, this guy was, you know, he was in Squid Games and that was a hit, so he's going to be a main character in The Acolyte.
Do you guys remember when Jack Black was casted in Mando 3 and they had him do like a little like marketing thing for it where he's going and he's doing his whole fucking music thing like for School of Rock, but like for Star Wars. Like that it's so crazy.
Yeah, he's become a very cringe actor. A lot of the people that they have popping up on the Star Wars shows are people that have been popular throughout the year. And I think the biggest problem with them too is that they are hiring people that don't know Star Wars whatsoever. So they're going and they're trying to write a script and write everything, and then to them it sounds good, and they go talk it over with their stupid friends. They're like, "Oh, it sounds awesome, guys!" And it's like, "Oh, let's do it," and it just bombs.
No background, no anything. Go ahead, bro.
No, you're good. Go ahead. I'm done.
It's not that they don't know Star Wars; it's they don't like, because I think that can still be okay. Like Wrath of Khan, right? My favorite movie.
Yeah.
You know, the director didn't know shit about Star Wars or Star Trek when he signed on to that project. You know what he did?
But did he at least?
He sat down and watched every episode of Star Trek.
See, at least that's the thing. He did the research for the show, and they don't
cared
do that.
He cared to learn what Star Trek was about, and then made something that fit what he learned Star Trek was about. He didn't come into it going, well, I don't really know anything about it, and I don't really care to learn. I'm going to make it what I think it should be.
Well, and,
what I want it to be, not what it is, but what I want it to be. And that's why Star Wars feels very disjointed right now, because that's what they're doing.
How many articles have we seen for both Marvel and Star Wars where they're like, after the show comes out, they're like, yeah, I never watched a single thing, or I didn't, you know, I wanted to do my own take. And it's like, at the end of the day, that's what's gonna cause the downfall of a show or portrayal of a character.
I think I think they knew it was going to cause a downfall. They just didn't give a shit.
Yeah. But and I always use start Wrath of Khan as this example, because there's really, you know, if you get like the director's cut edition of Wrath of Khan, there's a lot of extra stuff in there and some interviews. And the producer of the movie, Harv Bennett, and the director, Nicholas Meyer, they're both like, they didn't know shit about Star Trek, and they literally saved the franchise. The franchise was going to die if this movie didn't work, because the first movie didn't make any money. They spent a ton on it and didn't do great. It wasn't a box office bomb per se, but like it was not a good return on the investment for the studios. And this was going to be like either this one works or we're just going to put this one on ice again.
I remember recently hearing that a lot of back then that there was a lot of people already found out that Spock was going to die, and actually he was supposed to die in the beginning of the movie, but because people knew he was going to die, they changed it to the end. I'm not 100% sure if that's true, but I heard something about that.
They put the fake death in the simulator scene, I think, in there to kind of like fake out the fans and disarm them.
They were subverting our expectations. Come on, guys. Don't you know
they disarmed the audience by going like, oh my gosh, oh, that's what it was. It was just a simulation. Oh, thank God. And then you didn't see it coming until you saw Spock look up from his computer console. When Kirk goes on the intercom to Scotty, he's like, I need warp speed in like 2 minutes or we're all dead. And then you see Spock look up from his computer console, ponder for a second, and then get up and leave the bridge. And that's when you, like, if you were paying attention even the first time through, that's when you knew, oh shit,
right, something's up, man.
oh shit.
I actually, as the kid, I was still hoping he was going to make it because he got up, you know. He's like, he's dead already, and he's talking. I'm like, cool, but then he hit the thing.
Yeah.
You know, real quick,
blind from the radiation at that point, and yeah. I tell you, that movie, I've seen it gazillion times, and I still cannot make it through that scene without getting emotional. Like that, I know every line of that movie. I know every beat. I could repeat it without it playing, and it still hooks me every time.
You know what? A big thing too was because it was always on HBO, man. So I always was there watching. Every time it came on, I was like, "Holy shit, it's on!" You know, it's hard not to watch it. And real quick, that was the first movie that taught me about canon because I watched it and then I got into Star Trek and I found out that wait a second, Chekhov wasn't in the original Space Seed episode. But you know, that was something I looked into. I asked my dad because I was always about canon and things weren't right, and he's like, "Wow!" So he looked it up and. I can't remember what it was.
He wasn't cast on the show yet, but they kind of like tried to patch it canonically by going like, well, he was on the ship, but he wasn't part of the bridge crew yet. So we just didn't see him. He was there, but we just didn't see him.
Right, because I remember when they were pushing it on, it was in New York City I was living in, it's Channel 11, they were showing, you watch Space Seed before you watch the Wrath of Khan and all that. I already watched the Wrath of Khan, but I watched Space Seed. I was like, oh man, it was cool. You know, Ricardo Montalban, same guy, but younger, black hair, ponytail. You know, he's hitting on the one of whatever the girl he falls in love with, one of the Star Trek chicks in there, and it was great, man.
You learn to kind of hate her character because she's like basically betraying the
right. Like, even as a kid, I kind of know there's something wrong. Oh man,
those moments between like Kirk and him in Space Seed were just again some fantastic stuff. And it was when Nicholas Meyer and Bennett were watching that show, that episode, they're like, this is where we want to go. What happened?
This is it.
Let's find out what happened to Khan.
Right, let's bring him back.
Because the whole thing and the whole reason it's called Space Seed is the line that Spock has at the very end of the episode called Space Seed. He's like, he's kind of talking to Kirk because Kirk kind of lets Khan off the hook and just says like, well, okay, you guys, we're going to give you this planet and see what you can do. You know, like we're going to isolate you and we're going to kind of quarantine you off from the rest of the galaxy. But like, we're going to give you a chance as a society to flourish the way you want to flourish. And Spock is kind of going like, what an interesting seed you've planted here. It would be interesting to come back sometime later. And I'm paraphrasing his line here and see what became of it. And that was the hook that became the idea for Wrath of Khan, the movie that saved the entire franchise from.
This is City Alpha 5. Yeah, I love that when he gets all pissed. This is City Alpha 5.
You compare that to bring it back to Star Wars. Like you compare that Spock death scene, right?
Dude.
that where you're like, sir, he's dead already, and they're talking, and there's the glass between them, and he's like, ship out of danger, and he's like, yes, and don't breathe, Captain. Like the whole thing, I have been and always shall be your friend, live long and prosper. And then just that look of despair that Kirk has, he's like, I can't believe I just lost my best friend. And I mean, and then the amazing grace on Big Tyson for the funeral, like just the whole thing. And you look at that, and then you watch The Force Awakens, and you see Han's cheap fucking throwaway death, and you're just like, man, man, like you should have. That death should have been like of the variety of Spock's death in Wrath of Khan, and you treated Han Solo like he's some random red shirt on a throwaway episode. I'm tying back to Star Wars, Scran, because there's definitely some comparisons, especially when you're talking about like here's what's good and then not good, or those emotional moments in Return of the Jedi back to the original trilogy, like when that music as Lucas kind of channeling his hatred at his father when his father threatens to turn his sister. And that was the haunting like music with that orchestra or like almost like church hymn kind of thing feel going on behind it.
Dude, he's pissed. He's beating the shit out of it. He's like,
the moment is really you feel the gravity of the situation, how heavy of a scene that is, and how pivotal it is. Like this is the culmination of the 3 movies right here, right now. It had all the elements of great film just in that moment, and that's why yes, the Ewoks are silly, but goddamn, that Return of the Jedi is a good movie. That scene right there, the movie.
You had to balance it because I mean you take that whole scene with the Emperor, dude. You can feel the evil, man. It's cold. It's like holy shit, dude. That man is high on power, dude. He don't give a fuck, dude. I mean, dude.
That's just the emotional weight that we want when we see a Star Wars movie.
Which is why it's so bullshit when like these Twitter accounts and everyone that we shit on says that the original trilogy had no plan. Like, and they always use that as an argument against people talking shit about how
it had an outline that got refined. There's a difference between not having any plan and that, and like going to the prequel trilogy, right? That moment. That kind of like silentish moment where Padme's looking over the city.
Yeah. Yes.
Anakin's turning to the dark side. It's kind of this haunting, like ghostly feel to it. And the emotional weight of those two fighting on Mustafar, like that had gravity. That felt like something watching it. It felt.
And that scene, that scene you're talking about, the contrast between Padme and Anakin when they're both crying in their own respective buildings, like that's
good stuff, man.
Yeah, like cool not to feel something during that scene.
That's the stuff that movie lovers traditionally like. They went to see these kind of movies to feel feel something. Energy, and the problem with modern Hollywood and the problem with modern Star Trek and Star Wars is you just don't get any of that. The best you're going to get is, hey, I remember that.
That goes for music.
That's the only emotional connection they can get out of people now.
That's like goes for the music.
We got a super chat here. Johnzo, for $5, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who were the big 3 for me. Now all 3 are ruined by the woke mind virus. Bummer.
That's fair.
I
think it's ruined by incompetence and laziness as much as it is ruined by the woke stuff. Because I think woke is what sneaks in when you have incompetent and lazy creative people. Because that's a crutch that they can lean on to replace good, heartfelt stories and characters. Is like, well, I can't do that, so I'm going to throw in some token wokeism stuff, and I'll get my attaboys that way. It's to replace competence and good emotional storytelling, and it's a crutch. And It's not, a lot of the stuff isn't necessarily woke for the sake of it. It is just, it's literally their crutch because they want to be Hollywood people, but don't have the time. They don't have the talent.
And,
Just
and
amplified too. You know?
I actually agree with you on that. That like it's mostly what we see these days in terms of existing franchises is nostalgia bait and like shock value, and then they kind of sprinkle on the woke stuff just to kind of check the box, right? Like it's a mix of everything. Like everything gets boiled down to woke, but at the end of the day, I think you're correct. It comes down to incompetency and not being able to actually produce quality work with an existing franchise after the creators have moved on from that respective franchise. So I think it's typically coming down to a mix of all of those things that like they're trying to just like take nostalgia bait and just build off of something and then add in all the woke stuff just so that they meet the standard of what everything else is doing today.
It's like a horror movie, right? So like there's movies that are just like when you're done watching them, you're creeped out because they're just really creepy, haunting movies that stick with you. Like, ooh, that was disturbing. Or ooh, that was a scary concept. I'm like, and it was plausible. That could be happening right now, and I don't know it. And you're kind of like disturbed and you're like unsettled when you're done watching it. And then there's the horror movies that are just cheap jump scares.
Mm.
Right, just like like just easy to produce.
I hate those movies.
Lazy jump scares, and there's a moment for jump scares. Like Wrath of Khan had a jump scare when they're on Regulus, and McCoy walks into the arm that's just hanging there. That was a jump scare, and it was appropriate for the scene. But like horror movies that rely simply on gratuitous gore or jump scares aren't movies that stick with you.
Yeah.
And for me, like I'm not a horror movie person, but like a movie that just stuck with me and creeped me the fuck out was like Event Horizon. Just, sci-fi horror combined. That movie just creeped me out.
Yeah,
like, after I got done watching that, I was like, ugh.
Try to compare something like The Shining to the modern day horror movies,
dude.
Right?
It's disturbing because that character was disturbing, and that was like, and exactly. that could be the fall of anybody.
Return of the Living Dead, those movies scared the shit out of me.
I don't think I watched those.
Oh,
yeah, no, I'm not a zombie person.
I'm not a zombie person either but my family grew up watching, obviously in the 80s, so those movies were coming out, and I just remember there was a bunch of punk rockers in the movie, and they all got eaten by zombies, and I loved it.
Yeah. American Werewolf in London. I had a choice. Yeah. I was a kid. I had a choice to go with my dad to see that or go see my mom, Mommy Dearest. So I chose American Werewolf in London. I couldn't make it past after the Muppets scene stuff, so then I went to go see Mommy Dearest, which was better, but still seeing some girl get her ass beat with a coat hanger, a whole bunch of other shit. So American Werewolf in London, though, that whole scene with the Muppets and that whole dream sequence, that was pretty freaky, man. That messed me up, man. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, well, as a young kid, what Poltergeist creeped me the fuck out. Like, ooh, the chain.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one too, man.
Oh my god.
Or the first
the creepy in the backyard, like, is it gonna eat me?
Fuck.
Darth Redo in the chat, he mentioned I don't know if you guys watch those movies, but I love those movies. Evil Dead movies, and then the third one was Army of Darkness.
Yeah, those are fun, goofy movies, and there's always a place for those, right? That's not like, it's not to say that a slasher movie isn't something that could be fun to watch and be entertaining for entertainment's sake. Because there's a like almost every comedy is going to be like there's not a whole lot of comedies where you're going to be like leave feeling super inspired and everything. You're there to laugh and have a fun time, and we need those too. Like that's not to shit on the genre, but like understand what you're watching there. I mean, slasher movies, if you like them, cool, but I mean, it's not great cinema.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's not great storytelling. They're fun, but like it's candy. You know?
Yeah, that's I totally get what you're
And
saying.
it's almost like a subgenre of actual horror. Like I would say The Exorcist and The Shining are pretty legitimate horror movies that are actually done well in terms of cinema. But then you have like everything else, right? What's it called? What am I forgetting it? Jason,
Freddy Krueger,
Freddy
Michael
Yeah,
Myers.
Friday the
Krueger. Yeah, like
13th,
these are
Elm
these are
Street.
slashers,
Yeah.
right? Like they're not
Yeah,
doing anything
slashers
for the
are a
actual.
subgenre. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and you know, like, what's the difference between, you know, I worked in a video store a long time ago. What's the difference between a horror and a thriller movie?
Thriller in the horror was more it's more of a mind fuck, and
Yeah,
then wait, horror's mind fuck. Thrillers, they kind of get your anxiety going and like get you amped up because anything could be like thriller. Well, a lot of action movies, aren't they labeled as thrillers too?
The action thrillers, yeah, sure.
suspense thriller. I think
Suspenseful.
yeah, suspense thriller is what they call it. I don't know. I'd say
But
like
it's a blurry line where ooh, is this
it
movie
is.
a horror
Yeah.
movie or is it a thriller movie? Like, you know, what is Seven?
I think
Yeah.
when you say horror, I think there's a level of fantasy that's going on too, right? Poltergeist, ghosts, werewolves, that type of stuff. Like
So you're thinking like in order for horror to be horror, it's got to have some element of like paranormal in it.
yeah, because like even though Wednesday isn't like a scary like franchise, like they're like you still consider it horror, and I think that horror label has to have like a level of that like supernatural fantasy stuff to it. It's like another genre. It's a similar genre as like sci-fi, in my opinion. That like you have the
Sci-fi is very generic. Like there's so
yeah,
many different.
exactly.
There's this is science fiction
Like
thriller. There's science fiction fantasy. There's science. I mean, there's
exactly.
yeah.
So when you take a movie like Ex Machina, and compare it to Star Wars, vastly different, right? Or District 9, to War of the Worlds, like vastly different, right? So but they're
Or like
all
an AI or something, or what's that one with Tom Cruise or the Murder Death Kills and with the precogs and like there's a lot of there's science fiction encompasses a very broad category.
There are like boilerplate categories, and then there are like the subdivisions, and that's kind of how that's how I'm viewing it, at least.
But to define it, like, you know, people are like, well, what, you know, is Star Wars, is it fantasy or is it science fiction?
I've always called it
sci-fi fantasy, or is it you know, action adventure? Like, there's a lot of those elements in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think because, you know, it's like sci-fi is the generic easy answer. It's like, well, it's futuristic and it takes place in space.
Well, it's a political science movie. You didn't know that? That was a joke.
All right, guys, let's
had politics in it. See, it's an emperor.
let's get to some Star Wars. DVS Lord, what's your favorite Star Wars movie and why?
My favorite. Hold on, we got favorite Star Wars movie, huh? Man, I think. Man, I betray myself if I don't say Return of the Jedi, but man, Revenge of the Sith, man, the culmination to see that as a kid and everything. Oh man, that's just my bad side, man. It just says, that's probably number one. And then after that, Return of Jedi, because, you know, it's just because the Emperor, Luke, the redemption, and all that. I think that would be. And I love Empire too. It's so hard to choose, but I mean, if I had to see, and believe me, it's kind of so hard because both movies are, man, they're just so great in their own way. But it just, I guess it's the fight, everything of Revenge of the Sith just makes it, for me, like probably my favorite one. And that's hard to say over the Jedi, but I definitely would say that would have to be it. And for obvious reasons. I mean, there's a couple flaws in it, but overall, I wish all three movies were like that, but I was happy to get that last movie to be like that, and everything went pretty good. I mean, that I can expect it for, you know, for what he did, you know what I mean? There would have been a couple of things different. I would have liked to see a couple different things, but other than that, man, that movie rocked overall, man. It was just like the culmination of, you know, years, 20, 30 years of as a fan to see, you know, Darth Vader come to that moment. So that's my reasoning.
Greg, what's your favorite Star Wars movie and why?
It's so hard to answer because like I have more like I break it down in favorite Star Wars moments more than entire movies. If I'd have to pick a movie, I'm probably gonna go with A New Hope. simply because it's the one that started it all, and it just really had a good beginning, middle, and an end all on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't like it could have stopped there and been great. Like
Right.
and you just like you didn't. It's great that it went on further from that, but to me, it's the best beginning, middle, and act 1, 2, 3 of the Star Wars movies. It didn't rely on anything else. It was its own individual thing, and I don't put it very far ahead of the other movies. It's just got a little bit of an edge. I love that metal scene at the end where they're getting their award and everybody's like, you got that bombastic, celebratory music at the end, and it's like the good guys. But like I'm a bastard and I'm a cynic, but I'm also like I'm a sucker for a happy ending, and not just for massagers. But like I like maybe it's just I'm old fashioned, but I really like to see the heroes win the day and be heroic and save the day and not be these broken characters and miserable people and who suffer for doing good. I want to believe in something better and be inspired, not brought down. There's too much in the world that makes me cynical and an asshole, and it makes me hate everything and everybody and everything. Like I need to sit down and watch something I'm going to go be like, oh man, I wish it was like that in real. Like, I mean, people that can produce something like this, like there is some hope, Like we're not entirely lost. There's still hope. That's what I want to believe when I watch something these days. That's what I'm looking for. I think that it's what made it so successful in the time period because it came out during the malaise of the 70s, right? People were, you had the oil shortages, the hostage, like coming out of the Vietnam War. It was just, there wasn't a whole lot around. Hollywood is very depressing. It was just not fun. And then along came Star Wars and people responded because they were just like, they glommed onto it. Like, yes, this is what we want. Like, we want to see something fun and inspirational and uplifting. And we want to see heroes win and not be assholes and terrible people and broken characters. And I think we're kind of come back. We're like, if Disney could manage to put together something that would capture even just a little bit of that, and Acolyte's going in the complete wrong direction. It's doubling down on the despair of the era. But if they could get a filmmaker in there to write something that wasn't cynical, political, and it was just inspirational, full of characters that people aspired to be or follow. Because God, even in our politics, from our president to our popes, like they're all bad people.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be them. They suck.
Hell no.
Nobody's happy about the choices we have for candidates this time around. They suck. Like, we want something good. We're thirsty. I think the audience is just, they're dying for it. And you had a movie, like a goofy movie, like stupid Barbie, right? It was just silly and stupid and kind of cynical, but in the end, kind of like that. It was just it was kind of fun. It was like, it wasn't depressing. We won't get it out even whether or not it's woke or not, because that one's been well argued by other people, and I'm never going to see the movie. But like, I think people resonated with it because it was just something that wasn't.
It's a fun time.
Going to beat you up and
It
make you
was a
feel
good
like
time.
shit. It was
Very
it
nice
was
time.
fun. It was uplifting. It was inspirational. And that's when I look back at Star Wars and what makes Star Wars so great was that it was the right movie at the right time, given the state of the world. And boy, right now would be a perfect time to come up with another one of those. And they're just not going to do it, unfortunately, because the people like George Lucas was not the Norman Hollywood even back then. He was an outsider, kind of a rebellious fella, didn't like to do things the Hollywood way, had his own vision for things, and was stubborn about it, and didn't want to be in the studio system. Like, where's that guy now? Who's that guy in Hollywood? He doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a very long answer, Melvin. I'll shut up now.
Going back to what you were saying about the endings, I do like the happier endings, where the characters don't die, because you like these characters, but that doesn't always mean, like, that's the best scenario. Like, there's some movies where character gets killed right at the end, where works out. But, I mean, if I was writing something...
Spock in Star Trek 2?
But, like, most things that I would write probably would end up being happy.
Yes, I mean, we're all kind of little children. We want our happily ever after sometimes. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's human nature. That's good.
Well, and also we as humans, like we watch movies to escape from our basic reality, right? Like, you want to see the happy ending because I'm not saying everyone's life is sucks, but like, you want to see the hero's journey. You want to see them succeed. It's the whole point why we get invested in characters like Luke.
Yes, we're rooting for them. We want, we like them. We want them to win. Like this is really basic stuff.
Yeah.
At least, it used to be pretty basic stuff. But now everybody's like, well, no, that's boring. Like, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why you see that whole trope about how, like, villains, like, in every fantasy, like, being made today, villains need to be, like, seen through a light of understanding and empathy. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, a solid good versus evil story will always trump a story where, like, the good guy and the bad guy are kind of blending in with each other. Like, I really don't care for that at all. Which is what makes
you can have a villain that you can understand why he is the way he is without having to make him sympathetic.
Yeah, but he's clearly bad, like Darth Vader. Like, he's clearly
like Vader.
person.
You get Vader. Like, Khan, you get Khan. Like, why he is the way he is. He's a product of his superior.
Exactly.
His superiority complex, and the fact that he's genetically engineered, and his hubris and his arrogance, and it's his downfall. It's what causes him to get beat in the fight against Kirk. But you don't have to make this sob story like, oh, he was abused as a child by his dad who never understood him, or like, we don't need that shit. He's just a bad guy who does bad guy shit because he's a bad guy.
Which is what the prequel trilogy does really well of. It explains why Vader went the way he did, but it doesn't, like, make you be like, oh, actually he was correct. Like, no, he fucked up. Which is why in Return of the Jedi it was so meaningful that he made that turnaround, right? But, like, with Thanos, I felt like you started seeing all those people being like, oh yeah, I agree with Thanos, all this other shit, like, and that was in the MCU, not the comics. But you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a clear, definitive line between good and evil in Star Wars, and which is why it's so offensive that the whole acolyte things, like actors being like, oh yeah, there really isn't a good good versus bad in Star Wars. Like, it's like, that's just offensive. Like, you don't really know what you're saying.
It's modern deism, like, really, really brought forward, because the idea is that the Jedi are in power, therefore the Jedi are the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because whoever's running the system is inherently evil, because in order to run the system, they've somehow abused or took advantage or put down the other class.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very modern day, and its mindset is that they're responsible for everything because they're the ones in power.
Germ Graves, what's your favorite Star Wars movie and why?
Well, I'm gonna have to say, A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith. Why? Because my uncles originally showed me, you know, A New Hope, and I watched it with them. So I just kind of grew up with that one, obviously. And then my teenage years, I saw, the hell's it called again? Revenge, whatever. Yeah. Anyways,
Revenge
that's
of the Sith,
yes. Sorry,
man.
sorry. I just smoked too, so. But yeah, I remember seeing
Darth
both those.
Plagueis,
Well,
man.
I remember watching A
Oh,
New Hope with my uncles, A New Hope with my uncles, and then the other one in theaters. And then I saw, uh, oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting all the movie names right now.
Sorry, this is a epic stream. We got 50 viewers here, gigantic audience.
Hey, it's all good, brother. It's all good. Gotta start somewhere.
Fucking devious.
But yeah, those are movies I grew up watching. Anything from between, 1, 3, and 4 and 6. I'm good with all of them, dude. Anything else after that, I don't even bother with.
You know what's
The
funny?
Shield Slayer, are you there?
Yes, I am.
What
just
is
being
your first of all? There's something we got to address here. Why am I seeing the comments that you're not getting to future Star Wars content until next year? What's going on with that?
I have to wait till I'm 21 to upload.
Why? That's fucking bullshit.
I can't
Shield
do
Slayer.
anything about it.
What did you get? You didn't get permission from your mama, or?
Hey, listen, man. As long as I live under her roof, I gotta live by her rules. There's nothing I can really do about it.
It's understandable. It's understandable.
Move out, boy. Move out.
I can't. With the economy the way it is, I can't afford anything.
Well, maybe if you didn't blow off work, you'd be able to afford to live outside of your parents' house.
I think you should operate like the Sith and make the videos in secret.
I can't.
Be
No.
a man of 30 years ago, and like when you turned 18 and you didn't want to live with your parents' bullshit rules, you know what you did? You said, fuck it, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go find me a spool, and it's gonna be my fucking table. I'm gonna find a milk crate, and that's gonna be my chair for my living room, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be a poor bastard, but I'm gonna be my own poor bastard.
Yeah,
Amen.
that's the for me.
Tuscan Bob, that's not as comfortable.
Can you not, cats?
There's no Tuscan Bob. Who are you talking to?
Oh yeah,
Tuscan Bob's dead.
Yeah.
No, it's certainly not as comfortable, but like I think it's good for, don't burn bridges. Don't tell your parents fuck off. I never want to see you again, because you might need them. Because you might not be able to make that rent, and you might be thrown out on your ass because your roommate won't pay his share or whatever. Like shit happens, but you gotta grow up and learn. We lost our host. The Knights have taken over the channel.
That's gonna be a problem.
We're all actually Disney.
Now that the mighty Megatron, as how should we say, departed.
My name is actually Jacob, and I love Star Wars.
We've been fooled.
Like, every scene is the greatest thing ever, especially the last thing that came out is the greatest Star Wars ever.
Well,
Melvin just went to bed. He's just like, fuck it, I'm going to bed.
Hey, Greg, are we doing the Klingon way? So we take out the commander, right? You become the new captain? Is that how that works?
No, we're going to go. We're going full mirror universe.
I take it back. I take it back.
What did I miss? Sorry, this fucking computer is a nightmare.
We just kind of were not
I admitted that I am AI Jacob.
we all said we're secretly Disney shills here to take over.
Correction, he did.
We all have second channels, and we're featured on Grizzly's videos.
Hey, Melvin, that's who you need to get on here, Grizzy. Do you think you can get that dude on here?
He may or may not be showing up during Celebration
Oh,
as
shit.
one of the special guests.
Nice.
His stuff's cool. Been watching his stuff for a while now.
But Brandon, at some point you just gotta be like, fuck it, and just like do your shit, and then if they cry about it, just be like, fuck you.
Brandon,
Be
you
a
gotta watch
rebel.
Risky Business.
You gotta be a rebel without a cause.
I
You gotta
tried
be
that,
punk
and that
rock,
did not go well the last time.
You gotta be punk rock and just say fuck it and just do it.
It's like my
Brandon, are
parents
you
are
graduated from high
boomers,
school now?
old fashioned. Once I get to a certain age, I'm just like fuck you. I didn't say it like that, but it's like I'm gonna do what I want. I wasn't
you
like
graduated from high school,
outrageously
right, Brandon?
bad, but I just I figured out it's like, hey, I don't have to listen. Come home when I fucking want to. You gotta learn that, Brandon. Tell them to fuck off.
Except I
Sometimes
actually
you gotta
respect
say,
my
what the
parents.
fuck?
I actually
Find
do
like
respect
3
my
other
parents.
friends and just fucking rent a fucking shitty like apartment with a bunch of bedrooms, split the rent, fucking live like animals. Work
First,
your
I need a
ass off
driver's
because you're
license.
young and you can work 80 hours a week and still like get up the next day without feeling like death warmed over you. Like, enjoy it.
Yes. First, I need a license and a car.
If your parents are
License
pretty good,
first. Car doesn't help you if you don't have a license. But man,
Hey, you don't got a license, man?
Failed my driver's test. Racked up too many points.
Yeah.
That's why you
You
don't
probably,
blow off studying.
probably got
Brandon.
some blue-haired baloney
No,
lover.
no.
yeah.
She wasn't like that.
What did you call your instructor a chill? Is that what happened?
he was filming a TikTok video while taking the driver's test.
No, I racked up too many
That's like
points on my
50
test.
points right there.
Yeah. Are you a Disney chill?
No, my nerves got to me.
I can understand. You can get back out there, pass it.
Yeah, I've been
License
practicing.
to Drive with Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
I'm retaking the test in August, so
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
But
you're on the right path, Brandon. You got to you're subscribed to the right channels, and you're going to be starting your future Star Wars content.
I know.
By the time you're 25, I think you'll be flipping and zipping bitches.
Yeah, I really like if people stop pressuring me to release content. I will get content out. It's just going to take me a while.
Brandon, now who's gonna pressure you, brother? Why would
Then
you
I
say
got
that?
one last question. Sorry to put all the attention on the Shield Slayer, but when is your addition to the Melvin tournament going to be made?
Again, next year.
Ah!
I do
Shield
apologize.
Slayer!
But
I thought you were going to win. I already got the t-shirts
fact I
made.
have to
Shield
enter
Slayer
via-
won the Melvin tournament.
No, the fact I have to enter it via Twitter was the turnoff. That's what shot the whole project down.
No, you could just DM it to me.
Oh,
You don't
I
have
can
to make
DM it?
Twitter. Yeah, I
All
told
right,
you
then
that.
I can actually, if I can just DM it, then that would probably be acceptable.
I'll make the Brandon exception only for the
I'll be
Shield
right back,
Slayer.
guys.
All right, in that case, I
Brandon.
can actually get something done.
Brandon, this is for
I've
Star Wars stuff.
invested in Shield Slayer merch. You got to win this tournament, Brandon.
Absolutely, I will. I can DM it and I'll get it worked on.
You have basically 2 months, maybe less. Whenever the woke light's over, I'm gonna have to announce something. But yeah, that's gonna be the next big thing when the woke light's done. But right now we got one entry, I believe, and that is going to be the winner if there's only one entry.
Oh, hey, Grizzy's in the chat.
Grizzy, what up?
Yo, what up, dude?
We got Darth Rebo for $30. OG Star Wars for the win. Disney blows chunks. Enjoy your weekend nights. Hail Fleet Week. Thank you for the $30. And then we had another one, I believe, from Darth Ghostface. Darth Ghostface, for $10, here's the definitive Star Wars movie ranking from worst to best: The Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, TCW movie, Solo, the Rogue One fake movie, Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back. So he likes The Empire Strikes Back the most out of the George Lucas movies. Attack of the Clones, 6.
I think I could agree with most of that, with maybe a couple tweaks of flipping 2 of them around. Like I'd probably flip Solo and TCW. As much as I hate TCW, Solo's really bad.
I have no idea how I would rank any of the Disney movies. I hate them all.
And I like Ron Howard.
I think I would just only include the 6 to
Same.
make it easier.
Yeah, for sure.
And if we're doing a sequel list, that's actually my ranking for the sequels. But I mean, they are all incredibly bad. But if we're doing the 6, I have a hard time with rankings for it, but I do know what my favorite one is. And I will get to that once we get around. So, Brandon, what is your favorite Star Wars movie and why?
The Phantom Menace. There's just something about seeing where the story begins, like the setup, the beginning for the 6-film saga. I really like Qui-Gon as a character. I like the pod racing scene. The special effects are really great. The writing is very tight and solid. Overall, I enjoyed it a lot as a kid, and I enjoyed it as an adult. Like seeing the political intrigue and the beginning of the end, essentially.
Yeah, you have a better understanding of the politics in the movies as you're getting older.
I do.
When you're younger, you're just like, oh, fucking, you're just interested in the fighting and the colors and all that shit. Then you get older, you're like, oh, okay, I get why they're doing all this shit now.
Absolutely. I even own a book with the script for Phantom Menace.
Menace?
The Gatekeepers, Daimo, what is your favorite?
I always jump between Empire and Revenge of the Sith, for a pretty simple reason. Yeah, Empire was the first one I watched with my dad when I was a little kid, and then watching it in Revenge of the Sith in theaters was just the climax. It's really just nostalgia based. I also think Empire. I'd probably pick Empire, but whenever I watch Revenge of the Sith or Empire, that's always my favorite. So it's pretty difficult to jump between the two. Empire, I think, is still probably like top 3 best sequels of all time, in my opinion. But yeah, just simple answer. It's either Empire or Revenge of the Sith.
You know what's funny about those movies? Like Empire Strikes Back is usually a lot of people's go-to, and Revenge of the Sith there's a lot of people that'll put that as their number one. And it's funny because people are like, "Well, those are depressing movies. Those don't end on high notes." And it's like, but did you watch the ending of those movies? Like, you can, and these are good examples. And again, Wrath of Khan is another good example where you can end with a pretty heavy moment, right? Luke loses to Vader, finds out he's his father. The rebellion set back a little bit. Anakin turns to the dark side. The Jedi Order's gone, is essentially gone from the universe. The bad guys have won, but there's that little glimmer of hope at the end. And Wrath of Khan.
You're going to say that.
Spock is gone. He's dead. But then there's that moment where he gives the speech. Space, the final frontier at the end. And you get the idea of like maybe he's not though, because they had to seem to remember it ended on a positive note where Kirk is like he feels young again. He feels like his life has purpose again. He's through what happened to him in that movie and through his best friend's death, he has found his own new life, a reason for him to go forward. His son recognizes him. There's a lot of positives in there. And, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, you have Luke and Leia being born, and we know what happens in A New Hope and everything because that came first chronologically, or movie theatrics. So we know what happens from there. So there's hope there. And Empire Strikes Back, they're kind of regrouping on that medical frigate, and they're going to go get Han. They're going to go get him back. They're just starting their mission there. Luke gets his hand repaired, a mechanical hand, and you get the sense that and the battle will continue. Not all hope is lost. There's some despair, but there's hope.
Yeah, and
that makes those movies work. Because if you didn't have those moments, those movies would kind of be bummers. They'd be not likable. They'd be tough to watch because you just leave at the end and you're just like, well, that sucked.
Well, and a really solid relation between the two are Luke and Obi-Wan, and the pain that Obi-Wan went through, having to what he thought killed Vader, and then Luke, falling down a huge shaft. There's the pain you can feel in both those characters, and then you said, that little glimmer of hope, which is again just it's a solid feeling at the end of those movies. And that ties back to what we were talking about before with you are rooting for the characters that are meant to be rooted for, right? And it's simple, but it's important as a
they've been put through their paces, and they've had some setbacks, but you don't get the sense that the war's lost, it's over, it's inevitable. There's hope. Like I said, there's hope, and that's such an important when you have these type of movies where you have those moments where things get heavy and they get serious, and your main characters get put through some tough shit. You have to have that little bit of hope, otherwise it doesn't work. And unfortunately, in a lot of modern Hollywood movies, there seems to be missing that spark of hope. Well, they're gonna make another one because they're gonna make another one. You don't really feel like there's hope for the characters.
What up, Stezio?
Stezo, what's your favorite Star Wars movie and why?
I'm sure it's already been said, but Empire Strikes Back, clearly. Probably my favorite. Nostalgia-wise, it'd be the first one and Episode 4, New Hope, and that's just because that's what I remember. But overall quality, the one I'll watch the most again and like the most is Empire. I think it kind of just brings it really just kind of sums up the whole universe that it intended. And it's full of everything. It's got the story, it has a suspense, and it kind of leaves you with the as an audience member, anticipating the next one. The good guys don't necessarily win. It's very it's kind of a recovery, but that's what I think makes it special, was compared to the first one. The first one, everyone's happy because the Death Star is blown up, but the last one, it's anything but a win, for the heroes of the movie. So really good story. So I would say that's probably the big thing I like about it. And I personally think it has still the most memorable soundtrack. Maybe not John Williams' best work for Star Wars, but the themes and stuff in it are probably the more popular themes that carry on.
So I'm gonna go with answer the question. My favorite Star Wars movie is The Empire Strikes Back. And, the original is very good, but like the Andor fans say, I just like lightsabers and pew pew. And even though there's a lot of pew pew in A New Hope, there was a lot of lightsabers in Empire Strikes Back. I believe it was a superior duel between Luke and Vader. And, then it just took A New Hope to another level. That's what I believe. And, I like sequels. not the Disney sequels, but I like when there's a continuation of the story. You're like familiar with the characters. So like that's what I like seeing them at the beginning of the movie. The main characters. Unlike the Disney sequel trilogy, they're there in episode 9. They're all being friends, and you're like, who are these people? Like, why are they friends with each other? Like, I'm not buying it. When The Empire Strikes Back, you could buy it. That they've been through some shit together. So it opens out strong. At the Rebel base. So opens up very strong, and then the middle, Luke fucking goes and trains with Yoda, and then the ending confronts Vader. Like this shit is fucking sick, and then doesn't end on doesn't like it's a little depressing, but like Greg was saying, it ends on a good note. And I would say Return of the Jedi could have beat it because had a fucking epic opening with Jabba and an epic conclusion with the Emperor. Just fucking amazing. But in the middle, I thought was lacking compared to Empire Strikes Back. And then when it comes to, I like The Phantom Menace, I like Attack of the Clones, but it's like, are we really going to say it's better than the originals or better than the Empire? And then Revenge of the Sith, I like it, but based on, I guess, pacing, they crammed a lot into that movie, and The Empire Strikes Back, I think, had better pacing. And then plus, it's hard to beat the original trilogy. So that's why I would go Empire.
I'd have to say, well said. Well said.
Who's going to be your that you can tell us?
What's that?
Who's some of the other special guests that you got coming on later? If you can tell us.
I guess we could reveal it now. So I got United Spacers Alliance coming on.
Dark Pirates.
I have Star Wars Marvel Purists coming on. And I have the guy everyone knows as Grizzy coming on.
Grizzy!
So those are the guests I plan. I still have a couple slots open. Maybe talking to some people. I don't care either way. I'll fill the spots or do something. But overall, this stream I think is doing pretty good. I want to break my fucking computer, but that's another story.
Yeah, get a laptop for the streaming, and then you can still do your stuff on your actual computer.
I could. I gotta think of something. I think it's something to do with Streamlabs fucking up everything.
I've been hearing that people having problems with it lately. Like they did like an update or something, and it's really messing with
oh really?
Streams, yeah, streams and all that. It's been going on for about a month.
Makes me feel better. Is it like this computer's new and everything, and it's like
I don't think you have any issues with the computer. It's got to be a network deal, probably through their servers. But yeah, I've heard streams crashing, and it's been happening like not just like on YouTube, but like Rumble as well.
Really? I could avoid using the Streamlabs, but oh shit.
As he goes to the dark.
Oh shit. Hold on.
You can't stop the signal.
It gave me the notification that it crashed, and then I clicked on it. Things I go through many different cameras. I'll show you now. Hold on. Okay, so this is my regular cam. I go here, go there, Melvin chats, and so like that's why I use Streamlabs instead of just doing like a regular like webcam. fucking crashing, and got to figure out what's going on.
I missed the first part today because I was at work. What did you talk about the first 2 hours?
We talked about the failures of Disney Star Wars. Then we had a special guest, Sean Gambroni, on.
Oh man, I was gonna buy him a bag.
Yeah, he was snorting some blow, talking about flipping bitches.
Don't worry,
It was crazy.
he owes my Uncle Angel money, so.
DVS Lord, did you hook him up?
My uncle did, of course.
I was gonna say, I know I've heard good things about DVS Lord's cook, man. I heard it's so white the police let it go with a warning.
Dude, it's the Peruvian. It's the best, man.
That's the best stuff, right on.
DVS Lord is the cook. What do you mean?
Eventually, I'm gonna put. I think this is his 5th appearance. All that's gonna be on Melvin Zone, the Clips channel.
Yeah.
He might notice at some point, like, why is there 5 videos of me like fucking doing blow on stream?
You know what I was gonna say is like, and Tim covered it last night in his stream, but people they're coming with all these different takes on that whole like George Lucas like interview or whatever. And it's like it's ridiculous some of the stuff they're coming up with. Like I'm like, where are they? I read the same articles. I read the same articles. You're coming up with that.
Stiza, did you see what Kyle Katarn said? How he like screenshotted that thing about how like, oh, it's kind of like the sequel trilogies are like kids that got away from you, and it's sad to see. And he took that as like, this is a positive for us. Like, what? And then he like tried to call people out in the comments saying like, anyone doing mental gymnastics, I implore you to reread the article or something like that. It's just funny. It's like, wait, you're the one doing mental gymnastics. He's saying that it's sad to see where his child went.
All I know is when after the Acolyte's over and we see the failure of the streaming numbers, they'll come with another excuse why it didn't perform well. And, it'll probably be like, oh, negative this and that, and
racism.
Yeah,
all the isms and all the, it's just, how about it's just not going to be good?
You guys review bombed. That's a big one nowadays.
Russian bots.
Yeah. Russian
bots. He's part of that blue check mark now, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he's enjoying
They'll
that.
figure out a way to blame Trump.
Yeah, it's just going to be more of the same excuses and stuff. So it's really nice though, not having to watch that stuff or I just hear about it now from you guys.
What, you're off Twitter now?
No. I'm talking. I haven't watched any of those.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't watch Ahsoka. Like I couldn't catch this. Decided at my own risk at the end of the Power. I went through it. I binge watched it the last week to the last episode pirated it, and it was like I could have just said screw it. So that's why I'm not doing it anymore. And I didn't watch any of the Bad Batch.
I was gonna say you didn't watch.
I didn't watch.
I heard that was
Bad
great.
Batch was boring as
Didn't see
fuck.
Tales of the Jedi. I heard it was horrible.
I stopped at the Kenobi show.
Yeah, that was good.
That's pretty much where I stopped too.
That was my snapping point.
But there's nothing out like since my subscription ran out from Disney Plus though, like I haven't seen any of the MCU, like none of that. I did hear some stuff. So X-Men 97, I did pirate some of that. That actually was not what I expected. That was a little bit kind of reminded me of the past. I didn't see all that. People said there was some wokeness in it. I didn't feel that way. Not what anything more than you'd expect to see now.
Come on, dog. Jar. Kiki. Come on, dog.
Those damn dogs. You tell them.
Hey.
Michael, come on.
Well, the one problem I do see with X-Men 97 is I've been seeing the shills going back to the channels that were preemptively saying it was going to suck. And they're saying, oh, hey, you guys were wrong. All that stuff. And I'm like, I'm not saying X-Men 97 isn't good right now, but I am cautious because they did fire the showrunner. So I am expecting that it is going to fall apart with the second season.
That's what I'm hearing. Is I'm still trying to figure out. Greg, have you heard anything why he got fired, or is he gone? Oh, he's right there.
No, to be honest, I'm pretty tuned out of that stuff. I'm no interested in
because
the show at all.
Usually like they let us know why Gina got fired and some of these other people, but his departure was really kind of like, so you don't know if it could be anywhere from like sexual harassment to
Trump.
So he demanded more money and
well, it could have been that too. Maybe it could have been like his contract was up. You want a new contract? They're like, nope, you're not getting it.
To speculate on the reason why you wouldn't continue with a particular person's employment in that industry is infinite. There's just so to say that it was some sort of misdeed or some sort of bad behavior on his part. I think is taking a leap that just isn't justified because he literally could have just demanded more money.
Well, I was talking with Justin over on Star Wars Marvel Purist, and his theory was because the guy was actually focused on telling like a really good X-Men story and not trying to cram a bunch of woke garbage into it. So they just up and fired him. That's what I've heard from him, at least.
See, I don't believe that because I think that like if somebody happens to make something that's resonating with an audience, they're not, I have a hard time picturing them going, well, it's not woke enough though, so you're out of here.
I mean, you never know in this day and age.
I just don't think that's plausible. I think they would just let him be and be like, well, just take the win and use the money to develop other woke shit somewhere else.
I honestly do not know. I'm just relaying what I heard from Justin.
And I think it's a lot of cope for people that are just used to like they have the Disney derangement syndrome where everything that Disney does has to be in like awful and terrible, and if it's good they have to come up with some sort of like excuse or some reason, some justification that fits their narrative that everything Disney does is inherently evil.
Well, it's sort of like what happened with John Lasseter, right?
Well, it's just like, sometimes like Disney, like by accident could make something good. I'm still not going to support it though, because it funds them making stuff that's
absolutely
bad.
I do agree with that. It's one of the reasons I didn't even bother with the show. I mean, then I don't have a Disney Plus subscription anymore.
You say Disney Plus? It's Communist Plus.
Communist
Plus.
Communist Plus, right?
Like they could make something that's like, look, not everything that they make is going to be a horrible flop, and not everything that they make is going to be terrible and woke. I mean, just the odds are that they're going to accidentally make something decent.
Like
you still shouldn't support it though.
Their worst stuff is woke garbage that no one should bother to see. And their best would be absolutely boring, bland stuff that nobody could stand to watch.
If this is an if question. If you had to pick any Star Wars movie currently right now, that's movie made by Disney, which one would you have to pick? If someone walked up and said, "All right, I'm gonna take everything away from you," if you don't answer this question, everything you've ever built, somehow they are able to get all your information, take your shit, and make you lose everything.
You're sounding like a separatist, Germ.
No, it's just a question. I'm high. I'm asking questions. I'm bored.
Well,
I'm sorry, we're not entertaining you enough.
No. I'm sitting here. My attention span is put on Conan Exiles at the same time. Me and my girl, we play on the server together, so.
I think if you go Rogue One, you'd probably do the least damage, but that's a safe choice. So if you're going the sequel movies, I go Force Awakens because it had some of the originals in there, and you could have fired everyone, brought in someone for the next two, maybe done something with it. Still would have sucked ass. There's no expanded universe surrounding it, but I think you could have done some course correction to a degree after The Force Awakens.
I do agree with that as well.
I'm gonna say Christmas special because it really can't be worse.
The holiday special.
Oh geez.
I need to watch that at some point.
Yeah, it's probably rough.
You don't need to.
It's
You know,
it's
battle for
unwatchable for me. I can't do it.
I
I've
watched it
never
one
made
time
it
as
all
a
the way
kid, and that
through.
was enough.
I'll just do it for the sake of my morbid curiosity, and that'll be it.
The way I'm looking at it, Rogue One pissed
Awful.
me off the least.
yeah.
So like, yeah, like that's that.
So-
And there are some decent like the what's it called? The scene on Tariff when they're like the actual cinematography of the X-wings fighting. That's like it's not horrible, right? But it just pissed me off the least, like in comparison to all the other stuff that they've done.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, the worst thing about Rogue One is that it's kind of forgettable up until the Battle of Scarif, and that's about it.
Yeah, rewatchability is just not there though. Other than the last,
Boring as hell.
25
Like the main
minutes of the
characters
movie,
are
that's it.
forgettable. The events leading up to the Battle of Scarif are forgettable. Like it's all very forgettable. And
the Vader scene was added at the end, anyways. At the end cut, they didn't have that till the very end. They threw that in there.
yeah, the Vader scene, that scene was thrown in at the last minute. Because I'm pretty sure they were convinced that they needed that one thing to really kick people.
Oh, that was the difference maker because that's a member berry.
Absolutely. That was the one thing that was to get people all excited for the movie, the Vader scene.
Everybody was sleeping in the movie theater till that part. Everyone woke up when that came out.
Absolutely. I do remember when I first saw that movie, I was excited for the Vader scene.
None of the characters are like memorable. Like there's nothing about them that like, oh my goodness, I mean, there's just nothing in it,
Yeah.
And so
the droid, maybe. I think the droid was cool.
I had to
was probably
rewatch the
memorable.
movie to remember like who Andor was. I vaguely remembered him.
Yeah, that also made Andor so puzzling because it's like, why make a show based on a character that's already dead that nobody remembers from that movie?
Yeah, it doesn't make
It's just how they fucking do shit, and they like the budget on that show.
That show was. Oh,
Dude, they cared so much about that show. They just showed what they cared about. They put all their money, everything in that. They didn't give a shit about Obi-Wan. They were like, oh, everything to Andor. We'll push, we'll do the best we can. And look what you got, trash.
That show was boring as balls, and it was bad. Like, I only lasted till the second episode, and then I gave up.
Oh, it was rough. Infinite
and then
Multiverse has become a YouTube member, a Sith Warrior. Thank you for that. And then we got George Lucas again, gifted 5 fucking Knights of Melvin memberships. Can we get a Josh? Let's go!
Let's go!
I'm a simple man. I see Star Wars, I buy.
Jacob's like, I see a Melvin membership, I buy.
I buy.
I see a Star Wars Expanded Universe product without the Legends label. I buy it.
And then again, for the shills lurking and seeing all the gifted subs.
It's not fair.
Gifted memberships. It's not fair. It's not fair
Just
at all.
Fair.
So that's all of us rolling around with Padme after all the gifted memberships. Thank you for that.
We all want to roll around with Padme. We all know that.
We all want to roll around with Padme with the boyish laugh.
Yeah, I like her bodyguard. She was pretty cute too.
Yeah. I'd like to take this time to go ahead and promote Theory Sabers. I'm just messing with you.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you.
Real quick, there's a little downtime. Theory Sabers are just my cardboard cutouts in the back.
Star Wars Celebration has been sponsored by Theory Saber.
Yeah, every 3 days he has a new check out the Count Dooku, and then the next day it's like, and we have the Shin Hati, and then it's every day it's like, dude, that guy, I hope Theory's paying him or giving him free sabers out of that.
Well, at least he's actually presenting the product and he's showing you the product. rather than Stupendous Wave that's like, oh, sign up for this free lightsaber giveaway that I am never going to actually get around to, the giveaway part.
Hey, dude, I'm thinking about getting one of them sabers for the first time.
If it could take a beating, and keep the sound good, I'm there for it. My son was taking a look at it, and I'd like to get it because I want to try. Because me and him have been beating up lightsabers and meat since I'm 50. So, but we always look for a saber that it would break or the sound thing would break. It'd be nice to have something that's durable, so we can do our because when we go do our lightsaber battles, it's it's full throttle. There's no letting go. And a lot of the sabers we had, we broke. After maybe 10 fights, they start breaking. The sound goes to shit. But I don't know. I don't even. I told him to take a look at it because I don't give a shit. He can do it. I'm not going to see how much. They're probably a lot of money, right? I'm sure.
I think so many people sell them, and so many people.
Bye, Melvin.
And he's
Oh my God! Scream!
All right, Brandon, here's your chance.
I'm going to take over his channel.
So many people sell them like in China, and they're cheaper, and they're probably the same quality. I don't know for sure, but I know other people that are not Theory, like that's what they're doing. They're getting it from China, and they're just raising the price.
Actually, I do remember back when I used to watch Bombastic, he did advertise lightsabers. Oh, shoot, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the name of the company he was sponsoring, but he did. He was another person that was advertising lightsabers.
So I don't know. I mean, they look cool, but I mean, you could shop around. You could find something like
Right. It depends what they ask in price. I mean, usually we used to pay. This was like 10 years ago. It was like $300 for a good saber that lasts for a while. It'll break at the tip and all this other stuff, and you have to put a new blade on it. But from what I've seen, they got better. But again, I don't know. My son's taking a look into it, and if he thinks it was good, he'll buy it, and then I can tell someone. If he doesn't, then because he makes his own. But he said that's the biggest problem is finding a durable saber that doesn't break. And of course, they're going to break eventually, but also the soundboard that it doesn't go to shit neither, because that sucks when it starts flickering and doing all that. So, but
yeah, dude, I think that's what I want to do. I think, damn, he's lagging pretty hard. Yeah, sorry, you're lagging pretty hard for a second.
No, but no doubt. I mean, that would be something to take a look at. Maybe, like I said, if he does it, I'm into. I'll see what he says. He's supposed to let me know.
These lightsabers can go up for like about $200. I'm actually looking at a website named NeoSaber. They actually have some these go up for some pretty crazy expensive prices.
Yeah, could be up there.
I think the Shill Slayer should get a Theory saber and then enter Theory's lightsaber tournament next summer and win the tournament and start your brand from there. Be like, I'm the Shill Slayer! Fucking slay all the shills over there, like go in there and just like don't say anything and just like be this like dark figure. Kick everyone's ass.
Is he really doing that?
I actually got my Sith uniform all up and ready, so.
And you could be like, my lightsaber actually works. You will get stabbed and actually die, unlike a Disney saber.
Disney sabers are glorified sticks.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Have we heard about if the Acolyte's going to be like in the prime time or if it's going to be a midnight release?
So I know initially it's going to be Tuesday night like they did for Ahsoka. So I will be doing the anti-watch party on Tuesday night, and I don't have any reason to believe they're going to change that for the following weeks. So I'm going to do Duel of the Cannons Monday night, anti-watch party Tuesday nights, and should be some good shit.
And what's the opening night's a two-parter, right? We're getting two. And then what day is that? What day is that? That's the 4th?
I believe so. Or is it Tuesday the 3rd?
Well, Tuesday. The 3rd is a Monday, so 4th is a Tuesday. And then next question is, what is the premiere date of House of the Dragon? The 9th?
I believe it's
I'm
June
not
20, June 22nd, I believe, but I could be wrong on that.
That'd be the 23rd. I'm looking at the calendar. That's a Sunday. So I'm just like, I'm gonna be more into that than I'm gonna, because I'm not gonna even watch The Acolyte. But
Sure.
Be interesting to see the ratings because, like, it's be fun to compare it because
they're
like,
gonna
this
get
is
smoked. Why would you want to release? Why would you want to release during the House of the Dragon?
like,
Because
this is
they're fucking
Communist
stupid.
Plus top show for all the blue-haired commies. Like, this is their show.
Yeah.
So put it up against House of the Dragon. It'd be interesting.
Doesn't something else open in June too? That's kind of a big. All right, when is Cobra Kai opening? They're the first part of it. Isn't that in June or July?
Steve, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Rings of Power beats Acolyte.
Oh, it will probably.
Yeah, isn't that coming out around the same time too?
I think so. No, I think that comes in the fall.
Yeah, they learned from last year not to compete with House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I think they fucked up by doing that.
Yeah.
Good. You know what? That because they're so fucking cocky and they think they know what the fuck they're doing. Hey, let them make that mistake.
And when's this? And then I saw too. There's a. Is it this year? Maybe later this year? Isn't HBO releasing like some Dune TV show or something like that, or a miniseries or something like a prequel?
I think so.
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit happening. Like I don't really I'm trying to keep track of this stuff, but you know, it's kind of tough. You're like release dates, but yeah, I'm not even and then I'm sure Skeleton Crew will probably drop before the end of the year, and no one's going to give a shit about that either. And then after that, they don't have anything in production right now, right?
I mean, is Ahsoka in production? The season 2?
They haven't started filming.
I would imagine it would release before the Grogu fucking movie, but I mean, given how everything they do, maybe not.
Like when you look at their slate, so I remember, what was it, like almost 3 years ago? They were showing the end of their slate, and I remember it was like the Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte were towards the end of that slate 3 years out, and it's like they were 3 years ahead. So now we are coming to the end of it. They're talking about the movies now, going back to the movies, but the TV shows are kind of like, well, now they're saying there's going to be a Mando season 4 that's going to take place before the movie.
Oh, I think that's bullshit. That I don't think that's happening.
It's getting to the point now. It's like you don't know what's going on, but whatever.
It's been constant failures, and if we get to that Grogu movie, and it like does remotely decent, it's just gonna be demoralizing. That people actually went to go watch it and it made some money.
You know, people are gonna go watch it. You know,
I have a feeling they're gonna be like, yeah, Star Wars movie.
Well, do you think next year they're going to do something for the 20th anniversary for Revenge of the Sith?
And then that's another thing. I'm worried about these re-releases.
Yeah.
It's like they could keep failing, but it's like, oh, let's just re-release The Phantom Menace again. You get a nice chunk of change from that shit.
That's pretty much, I think that's all they're going to be able to do. Is just be a member berry.
Revenge of the Sith.
Keep them going. Like, instead of just constantly losing money, they just re-release some shit, and it just allows them to stretch this out as long as possible.
They need just enough money to keep the lights on. That's all they need.
They're just milking the shit out of Star Wars at this point. And
like the Phantom Menace came out for that anniversary special a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And it did really well. It got like second place or whatever, which for a re-release, that's pretty good. And but just remember, that's the Phantom Menace. Imagine like Revenge of the Sith. I think the fans will come out multiple times to go see that, probably. And I can see that making more money and be more successful for the 20th anniversary. But yeah, they'll keep milking and making their money off the proven Star Wars, but it'll help pay for their shit Star Wars, you know?
Absolutely.
Don't see it.
Don't see it. I mean, pop
If
it.
you do, if you do, go watch another movie and sneak in.
Yeah.
Don't even
fucking-
do that. It's not
Fuck the
worth it.
government. Do that.
There's nothing really else out to watch. You can just pop it in your Blu-ray player on your big screen TV.
You have a Blu-ray player? You must be rich.
A Blu-ray player?
Yeah.
I have
Got a VHS.
I have an Xbox. It plays 4K.
Wow.
I got a
But
place.
I never play. I don't use it really hardly anymore. I just use it to stream or whatever.
Diesel, that's what happens when you work hard, right?
That's right. Yeah. So you got to work hard. You actually have to have a job. That's why, guys, I couldn't be here on time because I was at work.
Hey, I got off of work.
Yeah.
And I'm here.
Hey, me too.
I was
just getting off of work too.
I was working, because I like money. I like to have nice things.
Exactly.
And you know what, brother? You showed up, and that shows that. Well,
That's a good joke. You have money during this economy.
Yeah.
We got crazy.
Well, you gotta
Finn
work
dude
twice
for
as hard to
two-
get money in this economy.
Crazy Finn dude for $2. I see the Vong Bong. I smoke. I need to get myself a Vong Bong.
You gotta get a Vader bomb.
I do something. Get these gaming streams back going.
Yeah,
Aurora
I'm not gonna lie,
uplinks
dude.
for $5. I honestly would have liked if instead of Kenobi, we got a TV show about Bail Organa and his early activities fighting the Empire in Alderaanian life. Thank you for the $5. I honestly would have liked if Disney would have just fucked off and never bought Star Wars.
That's
I
better.
would
Yeah.
like to
That'd be
see a
good.
lot of different things.
Wouldn't it have been cool though? Kind of like I'm surprised they haven't done it in a game yet. Like where Bail Organa's sitting like a cutscene where he's sitting on freaking Alderaan when the Death Star shows up like in the horizon right before it vaporizes.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be pretty rough.
That's a good fan one to make, man. His last moments.
Yeah. The last moments.
I think Melvin should do it. I think he should make that a show.
What
Who
show is
knows?
this?
Maybe you could pull it off.
The Bail Organa show.
Yeah, I just gave away Luke Skywalker, man. I hit the Vong Bong.
Why did I get Leia, man? I could have had the Luke Skywalker instead of the chick.
Man, stop calling me Fail Organa, man. It's not nice, man.
Fail Organa.
We should just be like nice to each other, man. Get off my back, man.
What's the slate tomorrow, Melvin? What time are we going live tomorrow?
We're doing the same schedule. 5 to 9. I believe we have 2 guests tomorrow. I gotta look at the official schedule. And so I will cover one of the panels, whatever gap we have. And it should be some good shit. You know, we're celebrating Star Wars all weekend. The official celebration.
And then Monday's the same schedule too.
Pretty much.
Nice.
So we're going 3 days.
Woo!
Yeah, the trilogy. The Melvin trilogy.
So I came out with a panel today. Not bad. Sean Gambroni came in, legendary performance. So we got more panels coming up.
Are we gonna have? Is Viper gonna show up at all? A little update where he's at in Vietnam.
No Viper, but I think he was telling me that he might send Cameron Pasha another email. And that's where we're at with season 2 of Spirit Files.
I think that might be happening.
I forgot about that.
You know, because he basically said like the Acolyte coming out, and you know he hasn't accepted his offer, so I think he wants to go ahead with it.
You know what you should do is see if Viper, since he's in Vietnam, maybe he could do like help Tim out and like for grounds of expediency, and he could follow the trail of follow the history, like do like a history track while he's out there. For John McCain when he was a POW and John Kerry, during their travels when they're in Vietnam, back in the day, see if they go to like a documentary.
This is where he crashed.
I think that would be pretty. Yeah, exactly. This is where he was a coward, up in here in Da Nang in '66. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool dig right there. Got to put him to work, man. He's in Vietnam. It's 110 degrees.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to win. The battles he's facing. He's able to turn that heat down, live out the rest of his days.
Man, what are we gonna do for Shill of the Week, man? It's like we got the whole, basically the whole wheel of shills is out there available for that one.
I think Sexplained, if he releases that vlog, I think he might get it because he's the top shill.
Holy cow! Did you see all the on Instagram? I don't follow her, but I keep seeing because she's you get the most popular videos is that Carly King. All her videos keep showing up for that whole experience where she's like,
oh really?
She did all this behind the scenes stuff. Oh, she's got video behind the scenes on her Instagram. Oh yeah, her with Dave Filoni meeting. It was funny because when there's a scene where Dave Filoni walks in and she's like, she actually had somebody there filming it. So she had a person there documenting it, and she was able to get the footage. But you see Kyle Katarn in the background when he walks in, going freaking out. It's so funny. It's like, oh my god, fucking cover that cleft lip.
I saw a tweet from her where she said the Acolyte is great, yada yada, and explain why it's great, and then she followed up, "I'm not getting paid to say this."
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Fucking bitch. We're just invited to Lucasfilm, just invited to the premiere. And you're not getting paid to say this. Get the fuck out of here. There's people that actually follow them. And so people bitching on my tweets of making fun of the shills, calling Sexplained out. And they're just crying about it. And it's you don't think he's bought and paid for?
So here's the deal. Those people didn't necessarily get paid to go, but they had all their expenses paid for. They're probably their hotel, their flight to go to the show. They were all probably fed for free. Yep. So they didn't have to pay a single dollar guaranteed unless they wanted to buy something outside their normal deal, but it was covered. So that right there, I mean, is, if I was going to do something like that for something I like or whatever, you would consider me, I'm shilling for that thing. Right. But so even though you're not getting a check from them, it's all expenses paid to go to this thing.
Yep.
And like I said, they didn't pick just any random people. They picked, there was from what I heard, there was this competition, or I'm not sure how it went, but basically they targeted people. They had their inside people, and there was people that got put into selection process. And at the end of the day, they picked a small group of people to do not just the meet and greet, but then they picked even a larger group to do to go to the premiere. And some people went, and then if you're dumb like Mesa Windu, who just didn't look at his email, then you just didn't get picked, or you forgot, or whatever, lost your invite. But yeah, it was a selection process. But when you look, it's all your typical people they're not going to give you an honest opinion. They're just going to keep saying, "Oh yeah, Disney's great, and I love Disney Star Wars and whatnot." You know what I mean? So
I think the ones who get picked are the ones that they simp and shill for the Sexplains. Fake News Kyle Katarn wants the Molly Damon badge. Yeah. And that's why he got invited.
We had Eric Voss.
And Eric Voss, he is a major Disney show. He gets the most views out of anyone, more than Star Wars Theory, but it's just goes under the radar.
But here's the catch. So the people that they picked also are shills, but they're not controversial shills. Hence, you're not going to get a Jacob invited because there's too many people. He says even Lucasfilm's cringed over just stop. Okay,
I just think they don't know who he is yet.
I know he's got the reach. Trust me, he's got the reach. But he's more infamous than it is about positivity. Whereas, a lot of these people too, they don't respond to you or like any of us that are attacking him, Kyle, he'll just block. They just block you. So when you don't respond, they just block, and then they'll make a passive aggressive a tweet about something, but that's what Disney doesn't want to get caught up in any sort of flame war or anything like that. So they're not going after like that. And he's made enough posts that have been controversial to be like, dude, like seriously, you're adding fuel to the flames or you're being hypocritical. Sorry, you're kind of out there. Like we're not going to pick you. It's in the kind of the same way why they wouldn't pick like Josh or they wouldn't pick, Star Wars Theory, because there's too much baggage. And so they're going after people that, like you smash, like you destroy Star Wars Explained like all the time. But he's never come out and even Molly Dane was like, oh, blah, blah. They just ignore you. You know what I mean? And that's what they're doing is they're taking non-controversial people and that's who they want is their fans, and they'll use them to go ahead and promote to try to garner new fans and push their Disney Star Wars forward. Like it's all great and it's all that, but yeah, they're not going to take anybody that we've talked about that are like the hardcore shills. They're off the board. You know what I mean? They're not going to get the VIP invites, but they might get invites, but not VIP invites.
ATG Cast, I didn't see over there. He's made some controversial.
He has.
He's big time. So he gets interviews on his channel. It's like he just got to 1,000 subscribers, gets no views on his videos. It's like, how is he getting these interviews? It's but yeah, I don't think he got the invite because they all post about it if they're at the premiere.
Oh yeah, they were posting all, like everybody was kind of like putting up their they're like, oh, look what I got, this and that, if they got the invite. Yeah, no, they did. And they'll post when they get their approval for their tickets for Japan Celebration next year.
Did you see it? There's a picture I posted on Twitter of Dave Filoni behind Leah Martinez, and he looks drunk.
Yeah.
He looks
he's
happy.
And
just like he's like, there's no wolves tonight, baby.
Disney paid for the alcohol too. They're probably at Club 33.
So I'm putting together a spreadsheet of just anyone I saw at the premiere. I posted in the Discord, and I just want to like put these names together and just kind of get a sense on like who's connected with them like big time where they're going to the premieres, because I think that's a big thing to be aware of with these people.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you see any just random like people you would consider normies that got invites, or like kids?
No, they're all.
There's no kids?
I think there's.
Star Wars is for kids.
I saw Mario Lopez, I think, went, and he had his kids there. Other than that, I didn't see anything.
He's always invited to that stuff. He's in that crowd,
And it's always people pronouns in their profile, like
gotta have the pronouns.
No, like normal fan where it's just like, I have problems with the sequels. I don't like Darth Melvin. It's like you don't have those people there. You have to be fucking extreme.
You didn't see nobody everything. Knights of Melvin shirt or anything like that. If I got invited, I'd totally wear my hoodie too. I'd buy some gear. They're like, oh, who's this guy? Your worst enemy?
Nice.
Dang.
All right, guys. I think before this computer gives out on me.
Closing time, James. Last call.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Greg, what do you have to say? Last words for Star Wars Celebration. Maybe we'll come back to him. Gatekeepers, Daimo, what do you have to say? Last words, Star Wars Celebration.
Not much. Just keep watching the ones I like. That's about it.
Pretty much. Steezo, what do you got to say for Star Wars Celebration?
Excited to see what the next 2 days bring. You know, I know that the content never lets me down, so hopefully everything works out. Everyone's able to show, and you know, glad to go ahead and keep this going. Maybe we can make this like an annual thing. You know,
maybe.
All that stuff. So yeah, make it bigger every year. So stick with the real George Lucas Star Wars. Keep it alive.
So I like to react to their shit whenever they have it, but then we could always have this at like another time on the real Star Wars Day. So I mean, yeah, we could do it every year.
I think it'd be cool.
Germ Graves, any last words for Celebration?
Fuck Disney Star Wars, and yeah, that's it.
Shield Slayer, you got any last words for the stream?
Keep up the good fight. Do not give in to the woke agenda. Keep fighting for all that is right. And I'll see you on the battlefield.
Devious Lord, any last words for the stream?
Man, I think this was a fun stream, and that talking about the past brought up a lot of memories, and that was pretty cool to realize that these things are like almost 30 years old, have that effect on all of us, and then how other people just seem to not get it. But this is awesome, and that's why we're here supporting you, and we got to keep doing it. I'm excited for the next couple of days, and fuck Disney Star Wars, and the shills and their simps, they can go piss off as well.
Yeah.
And Greg, any last words for Star Wars Celebration?
I don't really have any last words other than rest in peace.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We are continuing the next 2 days Star Wars Celebration. We're going to have more panels. I don't know. Maybe I'll open up the community part again,
That'd be
Well,
cool.
then take it over, and we can express our hate and disgust for Disney, all their simps, and keep that fire burning.
Maybe I'll open the community part next time, or in the next couple days. Get a little spontaneous with what we're doing. And so thanks everyone for being here. Make sure to become a Knight, subscribe to the channel, join the Knights Melvin Discord, help out to take down Disney and all their shills.
Yay. There we are. Bye, Jack.
Bye.